Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take one scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you could take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
This episode is brought to you by our absolute favorite guy when it comes to taxes, David Roque. David is an accountant and paintball player from South Florida. He did all of our PTG and personal taxes last year, and I gotta say, David is the man. He's been filing personal and corporate taxes for 7 years, has clients all around the United States, so it doesn't matter where you're at, he will figure out the best way to maximize your personal or corporate returns. He's really attentive, really easy to get a hold of, and amazing to work with. His goal is to help provide the paintball community with an affordable accountant that can help you better maximize your personal and corporate returns. Just mention you play paintball or listen to the podcast, and he will hook you up with a nice deal to get your taxes done for under $175, which if you compare that to like H&R Block and all the other big services, that's pretty damn good. And again, he's a paintball player. We love supporting the paintball community. The community has really showed up and showed out. So we like to do the same. And like I said, David has made our experience with tax season really seamless, really effortless, and everything is done very efficiently. So if you guys need any tax help, do not hesitate. Make sure to hit up David Roque either via his Instagram, which is alpha_Roque97. That's ROQUE and the numbers 97, or by email at droque954@gmail.com. Again, that's D as in David, Roque, ROQUE954@gmail.com. All right. What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode, we have none other than Carl Markowski from the Playing On podcast, and he just came out of retirement and is playing for Level Up. So we knew we had to get him on the show and sit down and talk with him all things paintball. And Carl's just an amazing dude, one of the best guys in paintball, one of the best voices for the sport, and an absolute phenom out on the field. So I know I'm excited to have him back on the field and get to watch him play again. And we got to dive into some really interesting conversations and topics. I know you guys are going to love this one. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication. And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the podcasting supernova over here. Carl Markowski, Hot Carl, back in the building. Dude, thank you so much for joining us over here.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, thank you guys. Dude, are you kidding me? You guys have been like just growing this thing way bigger than I could even have imagined like I could do with my podcast. What you guys are doing with like the chat rooms and just the programs that you guys have, the inclusion, it's amazing. I really truly tip my hat to you guys. It's insane.
Dude, you're the godfather. You're the godfather of the like pro paintball player, podcaster. So we pay major homage to you and thank you for everything that you've done in the game, bro. You've been in this game for, I mean, probably almost 20 plus years, I would imagine, running around and then also, you know, setting a precedence as a player, as one of the fastest players ever in paintball. Hot Carl is the reason they call you that, you know? And so thank you, bro. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I have been wanting to do this for a long time because I feel like there's been a ton of topics that you guys have talked about that I've talked about like on our different platforms, and we can finally now merge those two together and really have some awesome conversations.
Absolutely. Dude, I love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Carl, we still listen, at least I do, every time you have one of the, you'll have guests on that we have as well, and like I never go back and listen to our show. You know, I never go back and listen to the guests. So I love when you have interesting people on because I get to listen to, you know, listen to the show essentially, right? And so I get to hear the guests that we get to have these conversations with them, but it's different when you're just kind of, you know, third person view and you're sitting there enjoying the show rather than trying to engage in the conversation and dictate, you know, where it goes or, you know, reacting to certain things. It's just nice to be able to sit back and listen. So what I do want, and I've been pushing you on this for a long time, is let's get some more. Let's get some more. You're back now. You're playing with Level Up. You got a lot coming. I feel like it's time to go.
Yeah, dude. I feel the same. I love having conversations with people, especially regarding paintball is great because I know a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, you mentioned listening to the same people like on the other podcasts. I think it's like having a different perspective whenever you listen to somebody else's podcast with the same guest that you had on, because you guys can have a similar conversation, but that conversation branches off in different areas at that point, because we all have these conversations of like, okay, well, how'd you start and this and that and this and that. And then I might relate on something with them that you guys might not have. And then it just like tangents on from there, as we know we usually have.
Yeah, you just had Hinge Master on the show. Yeah. That was a cool one. Mike Hinman for everybody.
Dude. He's insane.
Definitely go check that out.
He is like, and how I explained it, and I try and like at the end of podcasts really kind of lump some like how I truly feel about the person as far as the impact on me. And it's the same thing with you guys, right? He was just this dominant figure, which he still is in paintball. He's like, if paintball had an attitude, a physical form, I feel like it would be Mike Hinman. You know, Legend. It's just like, yeah. And I
he's
think
the great Bambino, you know, it's like,
it speaks volumes too with how he came through the sport and then how he is now with different guys, but same results, just having constant positive feedback and results is amazing what he's done.
Oh yeah. I know he's had a huge impact on Marcelo and my life, just playing paintball and then off the field as well, like a father figure almost, you know, like someone that you can, you know, ask for some good advice and he'll shoot it straight to you, and just someone that you can always, you know, rely on to be there, not only as, you know, top level pro coach who's going to teach you how to play the game, and then also off the field as well, you know, helping out where he can in any way.
Yeah. Honesty is a great alibi. And when you can get somebody who's honest, and you know, referring to Mike, he'll tell you if you're playing like shit. He won't tell you if you're playing. I mean, nobody will really tell you if you're playing good, right? You just everybody just knows, especially at that high level. Like you can feel as a player, you know, when you're on, and you'll get looks from guys when you know you're fucking up a little bit, and you don't need that criticism per se, but you do it in a lot more subtle ways, I feel.
Yeah, you hit that on the head.
Yeah, and Hinman will definitely bring the best out of you, whether you like it or not. That's what I've always admired about Hinman and his camp Aftermath. And, you know, it's just so funny how he could take the team from one year to the next and increase their performance. Like as soon as he came back and got involved with Aftermath again, was it last year?
I believe so.
The team was profoundly better. They were like on the verge of being relegated, and then all of a sudden they got a 4th place finish last year in Philly, you know, and then this year again they just got another 4th place finish in Orlando. So it's like the team is now already instantly a contender, and it's not like they brought in any superstars. They have great players. They have really solid players. They have some players that are bound to be superstars in my opinion, but it's about the culture of the team. It's about the type of work that they put in, how they approach every practice, how they approach getting ready for the event, how they approach getting ready for the season. You know, those dudes are out there working. It was, you know, the only players that I could go play with in December and January. You know, they were out there every single week. And if I wanted to go out and put in some work, guess what? I could call up Hinge and say, yo, you got some dudes out there this weekend? Can we go run? He's, of course, you know, come through. And we go out there and we can play ball. Because they're playing every single weekend, and they're the first ones there, last ones to leave. They truly live by that. So it's really telling too, not just, you know, what Mike has done with that team and what they continue to do, but just that process and how important it is, you know, for any divisional teams that are listening. If you're not getting the results you want, the first thing that you need to address is how much effort you're putting into this thing. Because simply by putting in more effort, more time at the field, a few extra weekends, you're gonna improve. Your team is going to do better just on that. You know,
it's that cliche, right? You get out what you put in, and if you're out there grinding, dude, luck will, and opportunity and luck and all that shit that we talk about all the time, it will show up, and you'll notice that. You'll notice the opportunities. You'll notice the luck happen because you're putting in the effort and you're putting yourself in those positions and in that situation and circumstance to where you're ready for it, and it's that much more bright and clear and visible, and you can see it a lot more, because I think a lot of people have a lot of opportunity, but they're very, very much hazed on what that is, because they're worrying about everything else, and their mind is everywhere except for where they want to be, and they're so worried about all this other shit, rather than just maybe, if they want to play paintball at the highest level, focus on that, do the work, and the doors will open, and you'll see them.
Yeah, you gotta bust through the doors. You gotta be really, like, it's very easy. Humans, we're kind of amnesic creatures in a sense. You know, we're very forgetful. You go an hour and you're like, oh my God, I forgot all about this thing, or, you know, and it's kind of hardwired in our DNA to be that way. So you have to set a precedent. You have to write notes around you. You have to do these things, or, you know, do things that'll remind you to be the biggest.
Talk with the people about your sticky notes.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I got sticky notes everywhere. Little reminders. I'll place them where I know I'm going to see them at the right time, here, there, whatever. And, you know, just like almost, you know, just talking to yourself. Essentially, that's what it comes down to, is that self-talk. You got to be really profound with your self-talk. So get into that mode. And like Carl said, man, if you want to be a pro paintball player, if you want to be a real estate broker, if you want to, you know, whatever it is that you choose to do, really dive and kick that door wide open so that you can, you know, attack it.
Yeah. I talk to myself all the time. Like, really, I do. I mean, I feel like that's how you keep yourself honest, right? You give yourself a little reality check of, because I think talking to yourself is awareness to a point of kind of where you are at the moment, where you are, you know, just in general. And when you do that, you kind of, right. You bring yourself back down to earth. You're like, okay, you know what's going on. Tell yourself where you need to go, and then you move on. And then 3 seconds later, you're in the future, and fucking, you're on to the next thing.
More sticky notes.
More sticky notes, different color sticky notes.
Yeah.
Notes.
Dude, I'm so glad to see you guys, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
you too, bro.
And also why I'm excited about it is because I can't wait to play against you guys, because you guys are so fucking good Like it's insane. I remember seeing you guys.
I'm a little
when you were
bitter.
just. What do you mean? For what? Oh, wait, hang on. Let me guess. Let me guess. Okay.
I'm a little bitter.
All right. Well, I guess I eventually did get into diet gear, but it's just not with you, Marcelo. And I wonder how things would have been. You know what I mean? Just
I know.
a little
I
different
know.
circumstances.
I know. For
So
what
talk to me
Carl's
about it.
talking about, in 2000, going into 2015, when me, Mouse, A-Rod, Brandon Cornell, we're all trying to build up the Ironmen, we were so close to having Hot Carl Markowski come join us in building that program. But that's actually not even what I'm referring to, bro. No.
Really?
Even though that was a bummer. That was a bummer. That was definitely a bummer because you're right. We could have, I mean, that team, we had just gotten third place at World Cup, a lot of potential, could have done a lot of great things. But no, you came out of retirement. And what was I was trying to pull you out of retirement like 6 months ago to come play with Dynasty, or like
Dude,
a year ago.
I know. Okay. All right. Here, let me lay it out for you. See,
it was the dye gear. You wanted the dye gear.
Pando's paying me like 6 figures. So let's first get that. No, actually, I'm not getting anything for it. It's seriously me just wanting to play the game and told him, I was like, dude, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I just want to help you guys out. And it was him approaching me because I was really like between my job and everything and family. It just never, after 2018, when I retired, it just wasn't in the cards. Like, wanted to spend more time with the family. It was like when I retired for the first time, like when I was having my first kid and everything. Just more time with the family, more weekends with the family, and work in general. And then this year happened, and I thought it was going to be even more out of reach because I started a new job and I had no vacation time, no nothing. So after, I feel like it kind of looks weird with where I'm like, oh, Carl comes in after they fucking place third, and he just wants to ride on the coattails, all this stuff. It was like, it's not even the case.
Bandwagon.
Like those Robbie and Pando approached me like, hey man, how about coming out of retirement this time? Because him and I have been talking for a while because it just makes sense, right? He's 2.5 hours away. He's in Columbus. Totally. Play on a Ohio team and play against the best. And I was able this time to actually go back to my boss, convince him that it's a great idea, and have more vacation time and not get paid for this and that, and convince my wife it was a good idea because I'm trying to build the H2K brand as well. With the markers and everything, and then everything else we have in the mix. And
absolutely,
so it worked out, and I'm so excited because I played for the first time on an X-ball field last weekend. I feel great, and
for the first time ever. You heard that?
Yeah, there was one other time, and I had an EMEC in my hands, and I was on the X-ball field, and I was just kind of dinking around with the guys, but that was like a year or two ago. But this was the first time I ran like points since 2018.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And major love to everything you're doing with H2K. I definitely want to talk to you about that and everything you have going on with that here in a second. But I do want to, ask you what it means to you to be playing pro again, because I know that's a really special thing for you. It changed your life, and for so many other pros out there, it's changed our lives playing this game. And you have a beautiful family, and now your family is going to be able to see you, dad playing pro, and that's going to be a part of the lineage. And what does that mean to you?
Man, for my kids, at least my son, my daughter won't remember, and she'll be running around the event anyway, not even paying attention. But my son to be able to see me and see me out there playing is huge on me, without words. But just being able to play paintball again, especially at the highest level, it means so much because it's really built my character and who I am, but not just the game itself, because I'm in love with the game, but the relationships and the friendships and the camaraderie and the whole everything about the game off the field. Yeah, the small moments. I think about all those happening again. I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Of just being in the moment and focused on something that you're so passionate about that you can actually do that again. I'm so fortunate, so fortunate. Not just that I can still physically do it, but that I can actually be there and feel the moment again. And maybe I have a real legit shot at taking it to some teams and winning with this team. Not that I didn't with Aftershock, but I feel like there's just a different vibe happening with this team where everybody's just firing at all cylinders right now. And I'm going there to just try and win. But the majority of it is just to be back in that moment and help out in any way possible and be a utility player and with whatever they need, not encroach at all, just slide in and be whatever they need, what position they need me to fill in, just completely fall in love with the game again.
Yeah. Legitimately sliding in. You're going to be out there getting it.
Two knees in front of my body, sliding into whatever bunker.
Yep. And you haven't played this new style with all these bunkers out there. So you're going to be able to cover a lot of ground. And you said in the beginning of your statement, you're not going there to win or, just to win. That you're definitely going in hungry. I know you. I know the guys are hungry. And we actually played against LVL prior to the last event they did in Florida. We went out to Tiki's and practiced with them and the Saints. And the guys, you can just see it. They're hungry. They want to be the best they can be for the guy next to them. And it's really cool that they've added such a weapon like you, who's going to be able to, slide in that, 50 or wherever they send you on either side. And Hot Carl is going to be back on the scene.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait, man. It's going to be great just seeing everybody, but then also just playing everybody because you really know you find yourself on those fields, man. You find where you are. You can talk all the shit you want, or you can talk to yourself all you want. But when you step on that field, man, you really truly find the player that you are, and that's what I want to do again.
That's right, man. Yeah, there's no buffer out there, no buffer.
Do you think there's any chance you play a 2 role, or are you coming back straight to attack?
No, I think I'm going to play everywhere. Honestly, I mean, I think that they know that I can still do that and attack and be the front if need be. But I think we have a really young, group of front guys that can do the job. But I think up the middle, more of a 2 position. I think that would be great because I think that would really round me out as a player and and really kind of bring out some other aspects of my game that might have been lacking that I can really work on and and help on.
That's a more fun challenge too, for sure, is to kind of learn a new role a bit. I don't think those guys are too young though, right? I think even they're newer in the game, but I think the snake guy, Danny, I think he's in his upper 20s, early 30s even, right? I think the team is
Chase. I think he's 28. He's the brown beanie bandit. He's
the brown beanie.
Askren is 35.
Okay,
there's some older guys on there.
I guess that's young to us now, huh? 28. That is young.
Isn't that crazy? When we were young, I'm relatively close to your guys' age, but when we were young, all the guys that we thought were old were mid-20s.
Oh yeah. Young dude, pups.
I talk about that all the time. I remember Chris Osoya had a long-running joke. I think he had turned 30, 31, but he would always say, "I'm 28 and holding." That was his thing. He's 28 forever now.
His ponytail's 28
inches
long.
I remember being 20, 21 years old. I think it's longer than that. I remember being 20, 21 years old and still thinking, that's still old, bro. You're still old. 28 and holding. All right. Yeah, you're up there. Now I'm like, whoa, 28's young. Yeah, you're still in your 20s. No, what's hilarious is, so I get to work with a team called New York Wrecking Crew. And there's only 2 players that are from New York on the team still. The rest are implants. And actually some of them come from your local field out there. They play at Level Up. And all the kids are 15, 16, 17 years old, right? So the average age on the team is 18 because there's a 30-year-old on the team who's so good for the team. He's the glue. Shout out to Young Stevie. It's Young Stevie from PTG,
Stevie in the house.
Way. I think Stevie 31. I think he's my age, but he's the glue of the team, right? You can't have just a bunch of kids. You got to have that adult, the maturity. He keeps them together. Yeah. And then there's one other kid, Tanner, who I think is maybe 22. But these are all kids, right? All the rest of them are 16, 17 years old. And one of the dads, so also funny, all of their dads come to all of the practices and all the events, and they have a big group of 7, they call them the paintball dads.
Nice.
No joke, it needs to be a reality TV show because the dads are hilarious.
Soccer moms, and then you have paintball dads.
Yes, 100%. But anyway, one of them's like, you realize that you've been playing pro longer than these kids have been alive? And I mean, that hit me. That fucking hit me. Excuse my language.
Wow.
That hit me. I was like, hold on a second. Yeah, this is my 17th pro season. And so, yeah, certainly, like,
that's wild.
I've been playing pro longer than a few of these kids have been alive. It's unbelievable. We're getting up there, guys. We're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah. But it's like we play the game in short spurts though. Right? So it doesn't feel like we've been playing that long because it's like weekends here and there, events here and there, and then the years just go by. Because we play paintball a lot less than what we actually do play paintball. So it's like at least some of us.
Yourself, brother.
Yeah. I guess I have retired a couple times and then came back.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
you got to do it. You got to do it sometimes. It's great.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to talk to you about your background. If you're not watching on the YouTube, check out the YouTube Play the Game podcast YouTube. He's got a bunch of jerseys hanging up. Can you kind of walk us through the jersey collection that you have behind you?
Oh man. So just the ones hanging up. So I have, I don't know if you can see this one, but that's the
wow.
ICC All-Star jersey. And then I just have an old school Aftershock jersey that I wore for practice all the time. An Aftershock jersey of mine. Michael McLaughlin, Cody Smith, Alex Frazier jersey from the Smart Parts tournament. At
Crazy.
What was that? Where was that at? The
it was on the East
Pennsylvania,
Coast,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, in the casino.
Casino living.
Yeah, and a Brimstone Smoke 10-man jersey, a Make Paintball Violent Again T-shirt, and then a Black Lotus jersey, and then a James Blackwell jersey. It's like a bunch of friends, and then just different guys that mean teams that mean something to me, and I have more over there, but it's cool to look at and remind yourself how old you are.
Yeah,
every once in a while.
Totally. Yeah, if you've never played paintball at like 20 plus balls a second, it's just a whole nother monster. You know, like you were talking about your collection and the history in the game, and it's definitely, a fun, fast-paced game, but it changes when it goes from like 10 to 20,
Yeah. Isn't it crazy though? We went from those old school X-ball fields that had like 5 bunkers on the field, where we were shooting 20 balls a second, and now like because I played the newer field this past weekend, which is like a wall, like not the old school walls, but it's like just these bricks.
There's walls everywhere.
There is. It's crazy because I feel like you have these different gaps that you can shoot, but then it's like running is like, man, I feel way more free and I kind of do whatever I want, at least up the middle. I feel like way more kind of liquid going up the middle than I do going to a corner or something, but there's a ton of bunkers. Anyway, but then you have the fields now where there's a ton of bunkers, bigger bunkers too, and then we're shooting slower.
Yeah.
So it's so weird kind of the dynamic of the two. You think it would be flip-flopped.
Yeah, I know. We've actually talked about that on the show a few times, and I don't know exactly if it's just like the practice or what it was, but I feel like even on those wider fields, you would definitely still pick up a kill off the break. You'd get 1, maybe 2, but you would think it would be happening a lot more with just the amount of space that was in between everything back then.
Way more.
If you played on those today, I mean, the skill's gotten so much better. That's the reality of it, right? Like we're in a era of the game that players are getting better at an exponential rate because the game has evolved so recently and is still so new. It's just kind of the way it's been. I think if you put those old X-ball fields with 10 balls a second, nobody's going anywhere. It would be the most boring thing to watch. Like it would everyone would have to be in the center or like go up to the X. You're not making it to those temples that were 20 feet out, with like nothing in between. Like there's no way. Yeah. There's absolutely no way.
You know what I did notice on the newer fields though is that it's a lot more difficult to run and shoot and shoot back up the center or shoot like somebody that's close to home than it has been in the past. I feel like it's a lot easier now for a back guy to shoot, just dedicate a lane off the break and shoot a lane than it is for a guy running out shooting back up the middle because there's so much more stuff in the way. Which I love doing. That's one of the things I still love doing is running and shooting and doing it accurately, especially guys that are shooting back at me. I felt like that gave me an advantage. And now because now like these guys have these gaps that they can shoot through that are kind of blocked out by everything else. When you're running out, it makes it very, very difficult. Or I suck now.
No,
one
dude.
or the other.
You're right. It's definitely changed. The whole dynamic of everything has changed, and it's in the last few years. But honestly, it's really exciting. As you're going to see, it's crash and bash 'em kind of paintball. There's still a lot of great teamwork, great shooting off the break, really high skill sets that are involved. But with just the amount of bunkers, you're rewarded for movement. That's no secret. Out there, they talk about it all the time on the webcast, and it's just the way the fields play. You've really got to be pressing it because if you're not, somebody else is, and they're probably going to have the drop off those moves, doing that kind of stuff.
So I have something for you guys. So you had the Bart on the show last time, which I enjoyed listening to. Yeah. And mentioning that he was getting into Go Sports and obviously an owner of the NXL and trying to like spice things up. You guys had mentioned the shot clock. I have an idea.
Okay.
Which are very dangerous words. But so
I have an idea.
So and it would be integrated into the X-Ball game of today. It would be just another little aspect of the game to score points. And it's called the advantage bunker. Now, imagine the field that you guys played on at Sunshine, right? On the Dorito side, you had that the V on the Dorito side with the two bricks, right? They were bricks or were they wings?
They were wings. They had the
and then there was a brick in the
and then brick in the
center part of it. Wishbone.
So what an advantage bunker would be? It would be a bunker on either side. Like let's say it's those two bunkers or like the D3 on the other team's side and the D3 on your side. So your advantage bunker would be on the other team's side, right?
Yeah.
This bunker would be like, remember the balls bunkers and all that shit?
Can it light up? Can I just ask, can it light up too?
Yeah, you put a fucking light on
starts,
top.
Yeah, glowing, and then you got to get to it. All right.
But it'll be a sponsored bunker to whoever wants to sponsor the advantage bunker. So that'll be a different actual physical looking bunker. But the whole premise behind it is that if somebody gets in there from the other team, and you got to think about it, you got to get to the other team's side, right? And it only works if there's 3 or more people. It only counts if there's 3 or more people on the other side of the field. That way, if it's like down to 2 guys or 1 guy, it doesn't count because the game's over. They can't really do much. But if there's 3 or more people, you get into the advantage bunker, a clock starts. 30 seconds. Okay. So now when that starts, you're in the advantage bunker. The other team, let's say they're up by 2 points, but you get in the advantage bunker. The other team can't just sit around because if you stay alive and you stay in that bunker for 30 seconds, you get a point. Game's over.
Oh man. So you know why I love this, Carl? You know what it does? A really important thing. It gives a focal point.
Yes.
We always talk about I guess you could argue that right now that the focal point is the buzzer, but not really. The buzzer's not in play and like on the field. Mm-hmm. A bunker that like viewers, the action would be funneling towards that direction by nature of the point system.
Yes.
And so it would give you something to like focus on and know that the objective is to get to that spot.
Right. But if you focus on that and you try to do that the whole time, you lose focus of the other side of the field. And now you have players running ruckus on the other side of the field because you're so focused on the advantage bunker.
Of course.
And another reason or another thing I would add into this is on the scoreboard for the players on the field, have how many players are on the field on each side. Because who cares, honestly? When you're on the field, it doesn't really matter if you know where they are, it matters. If you know how many guys are left, does it really like matter that much? Just going up, looking and seeing how many dots, like start with 5 dots under each name.
I would have to say
on the scoreboard.
At this level, it really matters. Actually,
are you talking about real quick though? Are we talking about for the player or for the viewer?
For the player,
players and the viewer. So, and why I think that would be crucial with the advantage bunker is that you would actually be able to play out the game, whether or not you can play the advantage bunker. Because if you look up and you see 5 guys or 4 guys or 3 guys, you can play the advantage bunker. So now you have this kind of game inside the game. But if there's only 2 guys left or whatever, you can't play the advantage bunker. You just have to play the game out normal.
Yeah, and you can even like slow roast one and be like, oh, that guy's in the corner there, but he's not too big of a problem. And if I take him out, then I only have 2, so I'll just slow roast that player and leave him alive, kind of get into the advantage bunker, and then
But it doesn't count, right? Because there's only 2 guys left.
If I was to eliminate that third player, yeah.
So
could you save him?
Carl, would the point end if you're in that bunker for 30 seconds, or would you get a point and then could also score a point on top of it?
No, point would end because you're in the other team. So, you're in your advantage bunker on the other team. So that point would end, which means that the players on the other side of the team didn't get you, they didn't get you out of the advantage bunker. So it's just another way to kind of store a point.
I kind of like that,
I would
Marcelo.
argue. Yeah, no, I do too. So I would argue that you could get rid of the whole concept of depending on how many players are live, and you could just run with that concept in general. It would simplify it. One, it would make it to where, again, the focal point is always almost getting to that advantage bunker. And what they wanted to do this year was eliminate the towel button for good. They wanted to make it to where coaches could not concede the point to bring more action. So if it came down to like a 1-on-4 and the one is up 2 points, he's not just going to sit there. The players on the field would have to know the situation and understand the situation. So sorry, if the one was down points, right? The coach can't concede. The one would say, I have to go. I have to make something happen. This would kind of force that. Yeah, this would kind of force that too.
Yeah, how much do you think we would see people running out of bounds? Do you think a lot?
Because of the the non-concede thing?
That was my argument, is I think it would be silly and players would just run off the field. That was what I kind of thought. Like, you're going to see players that are going to not die on their sword. They're just going to run off the field, And I mean, honestly, if the move is for us to lose, if it's a 1-on-4, see, I don't know. I guess that is tough because anything can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen so many times, like some you kind of just have to go for it. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to go for it. You have to die on your sword, because what if you get through?
Dude, I will never let you live it down. If you run off that field, I will never let you.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to go into the pits
nobody.
with.
Yeah.
But imagine this. Imagine it's a 3-on-3. Imagine it's a 3-on-3. Team A is up by 2 points, and all they want to do is hunker down and cross. Right? That's all. That's all they want to do, and it's super tough. But let's say a crafty little aggressive player in on whatever side of the field the advantage bunker's on, sneaks into the advantage bunker. An alert goes off, says advantage, like that goes off, and instantly that, oh fuck, there's somebody in the advantage bunker. A 30-second clock starts. Now the team that's just crossed and holding up, that it didn't plan on moving, now they have to make a move, otherwise they're going to lose a point because somebody's in the advantage bunker.
Yeah, this is good.
So believe me, it's very, very much in the beginning baby stage, but it's just a concept I've been kind of rolling over and thinking like, okay, well, let's kind of trim off the fat on this whole thing, see if it's feasible. And I would love to have 2 teams really play it out for a weekend and have an advantage bunker and just have somebody keep time, have somebody just do it in a real way.
That would be like, we do a drill like that. It's called red zone.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar concept. Like, the only way you can score a point is by getting to the other teams. We usually do it on the Dorito side. It's usually the other teams like Dorito 2, and you play one-on-ones along the way. And like, if you shoot somebody in a 1-on-1, they have to run back and tag their next teammate in. And so the point only ends once you tag that bunker. So you could play like 3 or 4 different players in your, along the way to score one single point, and it's incredibly action packed. There's a focal point, like, what the objective is, the only way to score a point is if a player gets to that spot on the field. So it's easy to watch, and you might miss shots or, stuff like that, but you're seeing the movement and you understand the goal.
Yeah. But you being comfortable on the team that's up by points or just up by 1 or whatever, you being comfortable, your game gets all messed up because now you got to do something. Now you got to get rid of this.
You have to protect the advantage bunker too. You have to keep people from getting into that spot.
Yeah. It's a great advertisement for whoever may want to come in, right? Because you have the advantage bunker that's going to be different from all the other colors of the field. Not even just colors, but make it like a balls bunker where it's full advertisement or whatever. And then you can rearrange that It can be whatever bunker you want it to be, but just rearrange it with all the different events. It could be on the snake side, it could be up the middle, but always make it somewhere where it's not really makeable off the break because it's on the other team's side, but it's not feasible like 30 seconds into the game. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it like, let's say even on this last field, I was kind of going to that a little bit, but let's say one of the advantage bunkers was one of the big wings on your side of the field. Like that was the other team's advantage bunker. You know what I mean? Because that was played here and there, but that's a tough spot. Like once you got in there, that it was kind of one of those spots where it's like you bunkered a guy out of the 50 and then you got to that spot and then you kind of got to do something where you could stay there, like scenario, right? You get into there and that's the advantage bunker. You bunker out a 50 guy. You get into the advantage bunker, you just stay alive, you win the point. Or you can move on and try and shoot more guys and win the point. But if you just stay alive,
would be silly though. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But now it's like another game because I was like, oh fuck, okay, do I sit here and just try and stay alive for 30 seconds and try and win the point? Because now the other team knows I'm in here because they heard advantage or whatever the fuck you want to do. And do you try and do a full run through and finish out the point and hit the buzzer?
No, it's definitely a really interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, for me, with all of these alternative ways to play the game, I'm down for almost all of them when they have thought in them, right? And like this one definitely seems feasible and seems exciting, but I really wouldn't want anything to replace what we do on a regular basis. But that doesn't mean I don't think something like that couldn't be a great vehicle to get, some TV notoriety, right? Yeah. It's like in other sports, I mean, we talk about it all the time. I'm sure you have too, Carl, like there's other sports that have multiple ways of doing that thing, whether it's dirt bikes or snowboarding or bicycling, whatever it is, skateboarding, there's different ways to play whatever that is. And so we don't have to be confined to like one. There's so many exciting things that you could do with paintball. You have the scenario side, you have the tournament side, there's just so many different things. I think it would also be cool to grab 10 of the best pros in the world and put us up against 1,000 like first time players in some kind of, woods battlefield. And we have to protect like this certain zone. And I bet you we would do it, to be completely honest. And to the general public, they would probably be like, oh my God, these are Spartans. Like that's insane.
I'm scared already.
What just happened? What?
I'm scared already. That sounds terrifying.
Of the 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, even
how many do you think 10 of us could hold off? If like there was enough distance between your spot and like the next spot, you know what I'm saying?
100.
Like how many? That's it? Dude, you're crazy.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of paintballs. 100.
Yeah, it depends on if they're all shooting their paintball guns at the same time. It's gonna be
yeah, dude. It's
dude, they're not gonna be able to break the angle.
The angle,
like they're not gonna be able to break the angle. Like
that's true.
I don't know, dude. Like I said, if there's enough distance, to where there's bunkers in between.
Yeah.
Good luck, dude. I don't know. I really don't think
exciting. That's
an advantage bunker.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the house you're in.
There you go.
I think it's great too. It's because we all here love paintball. It doesn't matter what paintball we play. We all play different formats and different styles. But just like, even if you just took like this concept or a concept that you come up with and just go out with your buddies and like say, hey, we're going to just practice like this for a couple hours with this concept. You're going to learn things from doing that concept style that you wouldn't otherwise have learned. So just being really experimentative and trying different things as a paintball player is really, really good for your overall game. Like I didn't start on an airball field. I started in the woods. It's where I fell in love with paintball. It was really like a completely different experience. You feel like you're a real live, soldier or something out there in the thicket. You're going to save the day with your buddies, and it's just a whole experience. And then I saw the airball. Then I fell in love with that. But we have all played so many different styles, and that's why we've been able to attain the levels of success at this game. I believe that we have is because we just have seen more styles of paintball. So get out there, get creative, have fun, and just, pull the paintball gun out of the bag and go, grab some buddies and have a great time out there, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It's all up for the game.
And the whole, like Marcel, you were talking about, like something that doesn't change necessarily like how the game is played, right? And that's what I was thinking about this whole concept. It's like, so what's the most fun to me is like learning new things. and taking on new skills, right? And I don't think this would change the game at all. I think it would just add another aspect to it, because basically it's the same stuff that we normally do, right? We try and be aggressive, get into a certain spot, and try and shoot that guy out of that spot. I mean, it's just adding, and I think what makes it fairly simple is that it's easy to explain. So when somebody goes, okay, well, what is that? Okay, well, that's an advantage bunker. The other team tries to get in there. If they stay alive for 30 seconds, the team gets a point. They don't have to hit the buzzer. So, and then if they want to go in the detail, you can go, well, there has to be 3 guys or more alive. I mean, we can go in the detail about a lot of stuff, but I mean, the main premise, it's pretty simple, but it gives you a little focal point and a little bit of action to where it's like, oh, dude, he just made the advantage bunker. Is he shot? No, he's still in. They got 3 guys left alive. They got to do something, and then all of a sudden it's a you win that point because you're in the advantage bunker. Now you're tied up, or now you're 1 point away. And now the other team is like, man, we really got to watch out for player X because he's really taken that, that side pretty well. And he just scored the advantage bunker on that side. So now you focus on that side. And now the other side of the field starts. I don't know. I guess it's my idea. So I'm like all in on it, but I'm just trying to think of simple ways.
It's actually it's world famous. It already has an acronym. It's the MAB. It's the Markowski Advantage Bunker play, and it's
you could have a play the game logo on the side of it. Like you guys can be the first Advantage Bunker logo.
We go.
Do that.
Speaking of logos, I do got to give a shout out to the URPL because we just got on some jerseys for the URPL.
Ooh,
so we're gonna have some like young gunners out there rocking some PTG jerseys. Major love to the URPL.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has to be the playing on bunker first, but I just hope that doesn't send the wrong 100%. Message, and people don't get in there and they start cheating.
Use it to your discretion, the title of the bunker.
Dude, what does it feel like to be back playing pro with your guys, with LVL? Kind of describe the dynamic of the team and, how it feels to be playing that top level ball with these guys now.
Well, we did. So I had a practice last Sunday where I went down. Some of the guys were there. They're kind of sort of getting ready for Dallas with Easter coming up, but then we're going to have a practice the weekend before. But there were some guys there on Sunday, and it was like, it was a weird feeling, right? Because I haven't been the new guy in a long time. Because it was, even with Aftershock, I was at times, or at least 1 year, I was one of 2 guys I think that stayed. So it's like it was a whole new crew that came in, and it wasn't like I was adapting to them. It was kind of like everybody adapting to each other because it was just a whole new team. Whereas now I'm like somebody coming in to where they kind of know me. They kind of know me, right? But then I'm infiltrating. I don't even want to say that because I'm not really doing that. I'm joining a team that they're riding high. They have a good vibe. They have all this stuff going on, and I have this new guy feeling again, where I kind of got to get to know everybody and kind of feel it out and not suck and just kind of just play how I play. But then also be open to interpretation on how they want me to perform and be utilized. But it's honestly, it's great, man.
I would say Excessive would be the last time that you probably had that kind of a feeling, right? Because you were kind of the new guy on Excessive. No,
Avalanche.
So,
Avalanche. I went. They were they're Brandon Mayo and Danny Tiljak and all those guys. Yeah. And then Infamous after that. But yeah, it's interesting because it's it gives you another take on things where it's like I have almost this kind of this new kid feeling to where it's like I want to be my best and play my best out there and everything, but at the same time, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before, and it's just kind of dude. After the second point, I was like, I know what I'm
doing.
Let's go. Let's do this, dude. And I had a shit-eating grin on my face the entire rest of the day, just high-fiving, regardless of how the points went. I felt like I was learning, which was exciting for me. I'm using some new equipment and some new gear. Shout out to Dai and and everything they've provide for the team and everything. And
gonna have a H2K M2 or DSR coming pretty soon, or what?
Looking at a couple things. Probably going to be an M3. we'll probably go M3 more than M2.
Oh yeah, M3, right? Yeah, they're on the M3 now, right?
M3 plus, and then DSR
M3
plus. But it's weird though, because I shot Planet for so long, right? And big shout out to Planet, dude. I fell in love with that company and the group of people over there, and the Jacko and everybody, and they've treated me so well throughout the years, and I've gained such a great relationship. And we're still going to work with them under the H2K umbrella on future products, which I'm stoked about, and other companies along with Dye. But I'm stoked to be now equipped with Dye stuff and kind of seeing a different side of the game, and it's cool. I feel like a kid in a candy shop whenever I step on the field now. It's just like everything, my eyes are all big and wide and glowing, and just paintball is exciting. So it's a great dude.
Yeah, I love the H2K brand. Just a quick side note. I love it because hard to kill is the essence of what it takes to be good at paintball. That is like, it's like the most simple way to explain what makes a good paintball player. Be hard to kill.
Yeah.
Survivability, right? What's the name of the game? Outlive your opponents. Like that's how you win, or you get to the advantage bunker for 30 seconds.
There you go.
Be hard to kill. Be hard to kill for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Dude, we can make H2K for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
H2K.
There you go.
30 by 30. No, seriously. That's the name of the game. Be hard to kill. Be hard to kill. And you're going to go far. Like, no matter what position you play, if you can survive, that's step one. And it's such an important one, and it's often overlooked. A lot of front players really struggle with it. If you could be an aggressive player, but also have survivability, that's when you become elite. Like that's what we all know as far as, the young players like Mouse, Chad George, yourself, when you guys were coming up, riding that line initially, survivability is not great. Once those attackers learn to also have great survivability, now they're just next level dangerous, and you become one of the best in the game. Hard to kill
for sure, man. It's what I've always told myself coming up through the game. Is you can be aggressive. Some people play angry. You have all this aggression as a front player, all this adrenaline, the blood flowing and everything. But if you can be a menace and be hard to kill, to me, being menacing, when you're that to me, that means you're just like something as simple as like a fly. The fly is going to land on you, and it's up to you whether or not you're going to get the fly. But it's going to be there. It's going to be there, dude.
Hold on. Did you happen to see the episode where there was a fly that like made its way into here and he kept landing on me in the show?
On his nose. What was that? That wasn't CGI?
No, and then Tyler totally called it out. He couldn't keep it with like, I was like, dude, we're supposed to be like, professional. You're supposed to ignore that.
This thing was working him, dude. This fly was just working him. He was like, it's a menace, but you're right.
Menace.
And the branding, dude, that branding is so rock solid with H2K, hard to kill, being a menace, being in the spot, being where your opponent doesn't want you to be, and really bringing the game to your opponent, hard to kill. It's everything. And you actually just did the H2K GO4, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that thing was nice, man. And that sold out in minutes. And they can get merchandise and the show as well. Big ups to Playing On Podcast, your production that you put on. You can get merch, all the details on everything he's doing at playingonpodcast.com. So be sure to head over there and check that out. But yeah, talk to us about how H2K came to be and everything that you're doing with the website.
Yeah, so the podcast, is playingonpodcast.com. The website for the H2K stuff that we're kind of separating, just kind of making two separate things, is h2kpaintball.com.
There we go.
But how that started back in the day was there was a team here when I first started. They were the KYF kids, the Kill Your Face kids. And I was like, dude, that's sweet, but I want my own thing. And I was just like kind of thinking. And to the honest truth, man, I don't know how I came up with it, but I was just like, man, I don't know. I just want to be hard to kill on the field. Hard to kill, hard to H2K. And then I wrote it on my goggles, like on the nose, H2K. And it just stuck, man. And it was
that was excessive, right?
this was Tipman Effect.
No way.
Yeah,
Dude.
this was back. I did it in Tipman Effect because you could on my profilers, wherever they are, I wrote H2K, like just all across on my nose. And then I just started writing it on everything. And then
See?
And then I saw HK on the West Coast start doing their thing. I'm like, fuck, okay, well now I gotta start like building this up. And I took a lot of aggression, like seeing them, like how big they're getting. I'm like, I gotta do the same thing. I gotta push my name out there and get my name out there and everything. And I just started, writing it on everything and posting it and making stickers and just doing all kinds of stuff. And it's been it's interesting. Building a brand is it's not as easy as people think, because I've had the brand before and it kind of did this, and it's like very much a roller coaster. And I'm sure HK had the same issues. But it's just like anything, right? You stick to it, you believe in it, you put yourself in a position where, no, I believe in this and it's going to succeed, and I'm going to just keep hammering away, and eventually other people are going to believe you, and they're going to look at that logo or listen to the podcast or look at a t-shirt and go, they put heart and soul into that thing. And I think that's why people listen to your guys' podcast, mine. It's like we speak from the truth. And I think that's being able to speak the truth without having, like, obviously we have like sponsor boundaries that we can't really cross. But I didn't for the longest time. And I felt like I was very honest. Not that I wouldn't be honest now, but I think that being on a podcast like this and talking to people, you really, truly are able to kind of get an idea of who somebody is or how their brain works or what their thought process is. And I think this is one of the best ways to do it, is to be able to sit down and talk and kind of extract information, not extract information, but it's organic extraction, right? Because it's just joyful, free conversation. Absolutely. What was the question?
H2K, brother. How it all came to be, and you just started writing it on your face, and here we are, dude. 20 years later. So, dude, Tipman Effect, we gotta talk about for anybody who doesn't know, Carl's been in the trenches of paintball for a long time, and it's really exciting that you're back in the pro scene, because you definitely changed a lot of people's lives out there who play paintball as well. I know that there's countless paintball players who might not have picked up a paintball gun and be a part of this community without you. So it's great to see so many paintball players, whether it's in the 10-man or back on the pro field, picking up the gun and just giving it all the heart and soul they got to keep having fun and playing this amazing sport we love.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. But I think the biggest thing for me is that I wouldn't have been able to do it without the guys around me. Regardless of what team I was on, I wouldn't have been able on the field and off the field, dude. It's not all on me for where I am, where I was, how I came through the game, dude. If those guys didn't believe me and trusted me and I didn't do the same to them, nothing would have worked out. And luckily, a lot of guys and teams and people were on the same page and just made it happen. And luckily I was just able to kind of keep progressing because I believed in myself. But if I didn't have the teammates that I did, and I didn't have the connections that I did, as far as people helping out throughout the years, because there's so many favors that happen, like between companies, between people, between just these little things, these little favors that mean so much. And staying humble means so much, because you get that reality check of like, dude, I didn't do all this on my own. I did, but people helped, and I wouldn't be here without that.
That's one of the most powerful statements ever, is that grassroots love and humbleness for people, and all the amazing people that come together to make this possible, this show, the paintball experience, the tournaments, the teams, everything that comes together in this symphony, this harmony, and it all comes together for the love of this sport. And it's all from these people, these amazing people that are in this game. And I know PTG, playing on podcast, H2K, all stand behind that, and the people and everything that has come together to make this sport what it is.
Hell yeah. And Marcelo.
Shout out to Marcelo.
Yeah, Marcelo.
So
he said PTG podcast.
So let me,
that, huh?
let me break. I want to break something down a little bit for you guys. So I think you two are two of the best players to ever do it. One, hang on before I start like blowing up your heads or whatever. Just let me explain a little bit. So from what I've watched from when I was retired and everything, and I've watched paintball. I still watch the game, and I watched people evolve. I think the way that you two have evolved, the way Tyler, your character has truly been this embodiment of who you are, and you don't even have to say anything. Your mustache says it for you. But meaning like meaning, dude, you have a glow to you, and it's just it's inviting. And I think no matter what team you're on, you're an inspiration to players. Not only who are calling you a teammate, but also anybody who watches you. I think you're truly one of the tallest, smallest paintball players that I've ever seen. And
that's for sure.
You're just an animal. And Marcelo, I think you have become a true master of dissecting a situation. I think you should have got the golden barrel at the last event. That's just me.
I agree.
But I think, and it's no shade towards anybody else.
No.
But
give that man his flowers. Hey,
but,
give it, and straight up, no shade.
Yeah, no shade at all. But it's just obviously just me, dumb perspective. But I think that you have really truly become somebody who understands the game to a level of fractional decision making that has completely overwhelmed me watching you play. And just the way you've transitioned into the position that you play now, of this anchor, of this like you're an anchor and a sail at the same time, if that makes any sense. And you have so much positive energy going through that sail, but also grounding yourself with that anchor for the team itself is amazing to see. And I truly can't wait to high five you both.
Dude, you're the man, Carl.
Man,
that's some of the kindest words ever. And bro, we're truly so grateful, man. Honestly, at the end of the day, when we lay down and we just, are able to look back on everything that with paintball and everything that the shows have done, and just being a part of this community, we're just super grateful, man. And we want to make this game the best we can. I know Marcelo feels the same way, and we just love the game.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, huge thanks. But I think it comes down to the same reason you're getting back into it, right? We both, I know Tyler, myself, and I know you too. The fun part about the game of paintball, really any sport, I think, is that you can always improve. There's always stuff to work on, and like that process is actually the most fulfilling, rewarding, and time consuming. It's how I prefer and enjoy to spend my days, is to find ways to get better, find ways to work on certain aspects of my game that might be lacking, and enhance parts of my game that are good. It's given me the template of how to be a better person because of those exact reasons. What are my flaws? What are my strengths? How can I get better at this? That checklist of, okay, this week I need to work on this. Next week I'm going to work on that. Paintball has always been the skeleton for that. And that's why the game is so awesome, because you're never going to reach a point to where you have nothing to work on. Never. You will never get there, no matter what, and so for you coming back into it, I'm excited for you to start the process again as well, because I mean, you have always been one of the most fun players to watch. You can break open a game at any moment. A game where you are out there is exciting. Period. Like there's no way that point is not going to be exciting unless you get shot off the break, which is also super rare.
That happens.
But otherwise, it's like I think you've been playing to get to that advantage bunker since you got into the league. So maybe this is why you have this idea. But I'm excited to see how you're going to transition and develop into a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a two position, because I have a feeling you're not going to play much of the two, but it's going to be more of a composed role on that team. I think that you're going to bring, that team doesn't have a lot of experience. They don't have championship poise. That's something they might not be young in age, but they're young to the game, young to professional paintball. You're going to be that wisdom. And in that, if you really own that role with that team, I think you guys can do great things. And then to have your top end to where you can explode out of a 2-roll or a 3-roll, even to where, you know, you can play that in the beginning and be able to communicate things that need to happen and recognize situations, recognize packages, you know, and break down the other team's situation based on your experience, and then have the explosiveness of your top end, what you're capable of. That's what makes one of the most dangerous, you know, 2s and 3s are those players that can do that, can transition from that 2-3 roll to an attacker immediately. And you never got a chance to do that in your career, maybe because of the teams you were with or what they needed from you, or just, you know, where you were at personally then, but you were always the attacker, the missile. We know you could do that. To expand your game and to play in that next level with that ability to still punch as soon as somebody blinks or looks the other way. I mean, man, that is dangerous. And honestly, people in the league, you know, level is on the rise. The team's on the rise. They've been playing very well. And then to pick you up, I mean, I'm excited to see you guys play in Dallas.
Yeah. Big surprise though. I'm not going to be in Dallas.
Oh, what? Get out of here.
So
nope, that's not the one. That's not the one.
There you go. Do the
That's
chimes
not
again.
it.
That was
I
a good
lost
one.
him. I just got so sad on.
No. So here,
That's the one.
There's
that
the
is
one.
how I feel too. But I really have milked everything that I could out of my new position in the company.
Don't push it.
And I didn't want to, you know, even with my with the family, I couldn't sacrifice one. But my first event will be Philly. So the first major is going to be my first event. So I will be there for sure.
Okay.
But believe me, I would love to go to Dallas. I would love to.
Of course.
But
And just to round out that convo, Carl, you have one of the best energies in the sport as well. So thank you, man. Thank you for everything that you've invested into this game. Because like I said, there's countless people that wouldn't be playing if it wasn't for you as well. And we're grateful to have you on that field, dude. And I know that, you know, we both have really bright energies, but we also all tie our shoes the same way in the morning. And some days are tougher than others. It's not all, you know, bubble gum and happy times always. And it's what you do in those moments that really make the moments that you have on the field, you know, whatever those moments are in your life, you have a choice to either brighten those moments up or go a different direction, whichever way that is. So it's a conscious thing, and it's really difficult as well. It takes a lot of effort, and to be, you know, a source of energy and a source of like fun and enjoyment and brightness in whatever you're doing is a conscious decision. So if that's something that you want to take on, God bless you, because you're going to also catch, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not all bubble gum. So, you know, just
if you do sleep on me, I will put a couple in the back of your neck, but I'll shoot the pack first.
Like I said, don't blink.
Yeah, don't blink
when Carl's out there. Don't blink.
Go watch some videos, you know. Go watch some videos of Carl playing. You'll see.
You ain't got to tell me. I mean,
one thing though,
trying to get,
one thing that I always, I never wanted to really be like, I don't think I truly ever was like, I'm the fastest player in the world. You know, I never really like pushed that. I think a lot of other
that all the time.
Okay, but I know a lot of other people had said that like for me, and obviously I raced some people and what, but I hate racing. I hate it. I don't even like doing it. I don't even like the title of the fastest player in the world, because I feel like it's just this. I don't know. I just don't like titles, but I just enjoyed the way I played.
Hold on. Who's the fastest player? Is it you or Mouse? Because I've seen a race where Mouse beat you and then you beat him. How did that go down? I feel like we were in Dallas or something. I recorded it and there was a tie. I don't remember how the tie happened, but it was a tie. I don't remember if it was he won one and you won one, or if we only raced once and it was literally a tie.
I think we raced once, and I honestly, I was in the race, and I think it was so close that it could have gone either way. That's how I picture it. If he was like ahead of me, it wasn't by much. And he's the fastest player. If I was ahead of him and it wasn't by much, then I was. But I don't really care. I'm just glad I was there. Like, it happens, you know.
I mean, it's important stuff, dude. Fastest player in the league is a big title.
Yeah, that's fun. But also, like, just playing the game the way I play, like, is fun to me. You know, dude, what I mean?
Alex
I
Frazier,
wish I had
think
some of that speed.
Yeah,
dude, Goldman's an animal though. Like, I don't want to race him. I feel like I feel like he was going to shoulder bump me. Like, I don't like that physical contact.
Alex would always talk about taking it down a gear and being a little bit slower, because then the paint's already there and then you go by it, you know? He was like, it actually might even pay off to be a little slower.
Yeah.
No, 100% for me. If I'm running to a corner, 100%. All the time.
Oh, of course. Yeah, corners, snake, the D4, you're full send. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. The train never looked at a hill and said, "I'll go slower." I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah. The thing about your speed, same with Mouse. It's more the quickness from bunker to bunker rather than top end speed that gives you the ability to close gaps quick, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're in a spot and you want to go bunker somebody, you make that decision in a split second, and you're able to react within that same frame. Whereas me, I got to make sure that I have at least 10 seconds to make my move. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I see the move. How long did it take me to make the move? All right. You guys close that gap so fast, you know? So it allows that decision-making to, you're able to have more confidence in that decision-making, and your windows are a lot bigger, right? By nature of it, because of what you can do physically. But it's that from stop to go, you know, that's so fast and so quick, that is really good for paintball. You know, top end speed, it's, to me, not as important. It's from, you know, bunker to bunker, that burst speed.
Yeah. What I was always wanted to be looked at though for was, like, obviously the speed just kind of came with the game, how I played it, but I always wanted to be known as, like, one of the most, like, unorthodox, or like maybe not unorthodox, but kind of
creative,
just creative, organic. Like, I wanted to do something to where, like not necessarily maybe my speed were to win a point, but just my ability to make you feel like there were three of me. Like I would be in the snake. There, like, okay, Marcelo, perfect example. So it was 2000 and I believe 16 or 17. I was playing with Aftershock. We were playing at where were we? I don't know. I forget. But anyway, there was like a diamond on the one side of the field, and
Chicago.
I dove in. I think it might have been Chicago. I dove in, but I dove in and I had a core sample. I dove in the 50, had a core sample, but this was like mid game. So while I was doing that, it was just me and Rob, but I think it was four of you. It was when Spica was in the Dorito, you were in the corner, Greenspan was like in the back center, and I think B Short was like in a tower on the snake side. It was the same, Tyler, it was the same game where you came to our little wing and you kind of like ran in and kind of rolled into our wing, and I like shot you a couple times in the ribs, and you like,
I do that
like,
here and there, a couple little rolls
as you like walked. But anyway, but it but
Shark
I dove
fin.
in 50 and I came back and I cleared out my barrel, and then I kind of leaned out a little bit from the 50 and I shot Marcelo out of the corner, and I don't know if you knew that it was me that I shot you out of there. And then I went to the 50, and then I went to the middle wall, and then I shot Kyle going up the Doritos, and then I moved back to the other side of the wall. And it was just kind of this whole thing where I like to be the players to like not really be able to anticipate like how we're going to have it, because we're so like, I'll always talk about this, and I'm sure other pros will, like playing divisional teams or all these other players. They're so like, you don't know what they're going to do, to where like, yeah, you'll shoot them most of the time, but a couple times they'll be like, you're like, whoa, like that one was close, kind of a thing. You're not really expecting it. But I feel like there's a lot of, at the top level, there's a lot of just like methodical, kind of technical, where like, okay, I know, I kind of know what's going to happen, where this guy's going to go, because we have all these same gears going and same thought processes going. But I feel like if I can kind of jump off the tracks a little bit every now and then, and kind of like have you think about, okay, he's lined up going snake side, but is he going to cut in? Is he going to end up in the middle? Is he going to be pop his head out of the 50 snake, but then going to be in snake one and then come down the inside? I like having the options and playing the options, and having the player really kind of be on their heels and not really know exactly where I am at the time, if that makes any sense.
You're controlling the pace.
Yeah.
you're controlling the pace of a game when you do that, and it's such a crucial part of the game. To be able to control the pace is really to put your team in the driver's seat. And I think even more so with the way the bunkers are now, you're really going to thrive because of that. It lends itself to those opportunities to bounce around, and what you were doing there is you were reading what we were going to do before we even felt it, and you did that by controlling that pace and being the pace. So you're in the diamond, you get a kill, you realize somebody's going to try to make a move down a side. You went and put yourself in position in the center to stop that movement. You shoot Kyle. That's just like playing in the flow and being the pace, and it's such a valuable asset to have on a team. If you have players that can control the pace and move freely out there and are willing to take the risk too to do it, it really gets rewarded. Moves are rewarded these days. It's just the way the layouts are. If you sit in one bunker the whole time and just try to shoot your gun and hope people go through your lane, you're not going to have much success. You have to make moves to win games now.
Yeah, but I think a calm head does the same thing. Like perfect example. Another good example is when you two won World Cup. At that point, winning World Cup, right? Yeah. That was a great example of you guys just being on the same page and just knowing what to do. And then Marcelo, it's like that one-on-one you had in the finals, where you in the corner, and who was it against?
Kyle.
Silos? It was against Kyle, right?
Yeah, it was. And Kyle and J-Rab was a 2-on-1.
Yes.
Just for the listen. Yeah,
and
one time.
it was great too, and I knew what you were going to do because you popped the top and then you actually shot him when you came inside and shot him in the forearm. I see those little things, dude. I love it. I love those little things. I love little details on stuff, and maybe that is like the reason why I'm the player and I play the way I do. But I love watching other guys play the game like that, and you being able to do that so flawlessly, I think is awesome. And you could tell how calm you were in the situation, and just knowing what to do, like just the way you were, the confidence you had in the corner, which is great to see. And Tyler, same thing for you, man. The way you have that calmness about you, but the intensity is still there. But the calmness and confidence is just it's amazing to see.
It's just processing. Got to process that information, and apply it. Yeah, it's
practice too. What's funny is that I've been kind of going through. So leading up to the event, we had a bunch of with Alex and the Hormesis God and everything Dynasty's doing. We have like tons of videographers and photographers out at anytime we're at the paintball field, there's tons of people taking photos and taking video. And so we have a ton of content, right? Going back and seeing some of the big moments from the finals or even from Sunday, personally, some of these big moments that I had, I'm like watching Go Sports and watching the film there. And then I'm seeing clips from practice. They had all been done in practice. Like every single one of those situations almost had been broken down already in practice. Had already seen it and executed it. Like there's a slow motion clip of me Thursday in practice in Orlando in the snake corner, coming up over the top, coming down, coming inside and connecting on a shot to win a one-on-one. Like all of those things had already been done. And so, really it's about the practice. It's about seeing these things beforehand. It's about going through the motions of them. That's what gives you the confidence in those situations. You're just executing things that you've already done, that you've already practiced, situations you've already been in, put yourself in. It's so crucial to go through that process,
Yeah. And now I've watched that clip so many times where I know you're going to go over the top and then you're going to come out strong hand. So I'm ready for it.
Well, now I know you're ready for it. So maybe I'll come out to the opposite hand.
Or maybe this is all actually April Fool's. I'm not even playing.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll think that you're going to think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to still come strong hand.
There you go.
Never know.
Maybe you're going to be out of paint.
You know what? Yeah, you're going to be out of paint.
It was April Fool's that you announced it, wasn't it?
It was
an accident. It wasn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to be on April Fool's. And then when it happened, I was like, that's funny.
Wait, was it on April Fool's or was it the night before?
It was the first. Well, I think it was that night. I think.
Okay.
It was
okay. Shit. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I didn't notice it until then. Until somebody said something, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess
I'll lost it over that HK post. That HK post was going crazy.
It was March 31st. Hold on.
Is it 31st?
Your post was on March 31st, so you were totally in line.
You're good.
Of posting it. You're good.
See?
HK posted on the first, and it was about Huntington Beach, and people were just losing their gorditos.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"There's no,
Yeah,
there's no
bro,
way."
you got to update your profile.
Who?
Former professional paintball player.
It
You,
does
bro.
say former.
April
Yeah.
Fools, bro. I haven't been playing. I don't even know who Die is. Like I'm just still retired. I don't know what you're talking
No
about.
way, buddy. No way.
Come on, man. Yeah, you gotta fix that. We gotta fix that.
I'll get there.
So where are
Let's
you living
see.
at these days? Where's home base for you?
I'm in Rossford, Ohio, which is a suburb in Toledo.
Awesome. Shout out to Ohio.
Yeah, it's pretty fun
Let's
here.
go, Ohio. Yeah. Great field, great paintball field. You got Pando out there.
Dude,
And,
Level Up is amazing, dude. What he's done with that field and everything. And Marcel, you do clinics down there. It's just like
I love
it's
Pando.
so great to see. Yeah, he's such a great dude, and the facility is amazing. The guys down there are awesome, and the community's growing. And I really have to say it's because Pando putting all the effort and work into building that field to what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pando is one of the greatest dudes in the entire sport of paintball. What he's done for that area, for that part of the country for paintball is huge. And for the sport itself, like the amount of exposure, he brings professional athletes, NFL players. He's done such a great job of building an awesome facility, and then now an awesome professional team too. Level got third place at the last event. Like, that's not an easy thing to do, to build a professional paintball team. And he's done it without a big budget. He's done it, just organically from offering a good place, good facility for them to practice at. I can't say enough good things about Pando. I do usually get out there at least once a year to do a clinic. Hopefully I get out there again this year. But I don't know. I don't think they need me over there anymore. They got the Level guys, they might not want me anymore.
Shut up, dude.
Saying, dude. They're doing it right.
No. We need a good mix of different energies, and what better one than y'all's?
Yeah, dude. He's changed the game out there. So paintball is obviously doing really good in Ohio. From what I haven't been there quite some time, and it sounds like it's thriving.
Yeah, I think Level Up is it's like 2.5 hours away from me, but I can't really think of another place to play to that kind of intensity and player volume as Level Up does.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often do they play?
Those guys, there's a lot of local guys, so they kind of play sporadically here and there, but we're always like the 2 weekends before the events. But there's always somebody playing down there all the time. So I have a question for you guys.
Play a lot of paintball. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. That's a great tagline. Did you guys ever think that this first part of the question, do you ever think that this the podcast would be where it is today without the pandemic? And then 2, what was your take when you first started doing it? Was it like was it something that you were going to go all in on, or just maybe kind of go in a few sessions and see how it kind of played out?
Mm-hmm. I'll take
Ty,
the first.
mind?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll answer this
go
first.
ahead.
So I don't even know that this would be around without the pandemic because it offered the amount of time to like we play paintball, and prior to that I was working like crazy, like wild 16-hour days, crawling under houses, looking, helping real estate agents, just running like a madman. And this would definitely have never manifested without that time. So it's really, it's wild what we've been able to build, and the amount of love that we've been able to pour into the game, and the connections we've been able to make through this podcast. It's been really fun and really rewarding, and we feel like the luckiest guys ever to be able to connect with everybody. And then the second part, I'm sorry.
Oh, it was like, did you think it was going to be as big as it is? Like, did you just go into like, let's do a couple episodes and see what happens, or like just
no,
everything
we from the get-go, we're going to be doing, 4 to 6 at least of those. And then we were already brainstorming different ideas of how we can do more media. We honestly treat this like we want to be media moguls. We want to do media and provide a lot of light to paintball. And yeah, we did. When we sent this ship sailing, it was PTG forever.
Right or die.
Yeah. Ty's right. Without the time, one, I mean, as you know, Carl, it's a lot to learn to put on a production like this. It's not easy, figuring out all of the, first of all, have always been fairly computer illiterate, not very tech savvy, I've got my phone and stuff, but that's about it, and so just learning all of the ins and outs, the time alone to not only do the shows, but to learn that just never would have been available, because before COVID, I mean, my schedule was insane. I would go to a major NXL event, come home Monday, leave Tuesday morning for a European event, come home Monday, leave Tuesday morning for an Australian event, come home. No joke. I would have often these like 3-week spurts, sometimes 4 weeks in a row, where it was like, come home Monday, leave Tuesday, and we're flying across the world. And this would be four times a year at least, where you would have those 3-week spurts. And then the longest I would be home is like 3 days until the weekend if I'm going to do a clinic. It's like every single weekend, nonstop, I'm either playing or teaching. And so during COVID, obviously, all the international travel got shut down, which lent itself to me being home. And I was still doing a lot of stuff on the weekends, but it's a lot easier to fly out Friday and come home Sunday night. It gives me a lot more time during the week. So that was first and foremost. The podcast never would have been able to get off the ground if we didn't have that time. Luckily, now we have the blueprint in place. So as things pick up, I'm very confident that I think it's going to be more fun when the travel really starts to pick up. We actually just bought 2 little travel mics to bring with us. So when we start traveling, we have the blueprint to be able to, do shows from where we're at and get those uploaded. Excuse me. But to the second part of that question, Tyler and I had a pretty in-depth conversation we had in-depth conversations for quite some time about like, what should we do? We wanted to do something together, and we weren't quite sure what it was. We were brainstorming all sorts of different stuff. And as things unfolded during the pandemic, it just kind of naturally presented itself to us that this was what we wanted to do. And the decision wasn't to find something to do just, during the pandemic to hold us over. It was, what can we do long-term that is going to be really meaningful and something that can be a staple in the sport of paintball.
Bring you closer to the game.
Totally. And so as soon as we decided to do that, it was, one of the first things that it's still kind of our mantra. It's kind of funny, but one day we're going to do a podcast from the moon. Probably won't ever happen, but you never know. It's good to have damn goal. Good to have that damn goal. We've been all in on it, man. And it's been the greatest adventure, the greatest journey. It brought us super close. I think a lot of winning that World Cup in 2020 was because of this podcast. It set our intentions. We talked about it all year. And then we went into those 3 practices, the 3 weeks leading up to the event, with a different type of energy and a different type of connection. And then for him and I to be the last ones on the field in overtime in a 2-on-3 situation was just like,
you couldn't write a better ending, dude.
You could not write a better ending. It was nuts, you cannot write a better ending. You truly can't. And so
it was crazy, dude. Yeah. After that game,
it's crazy.
When we were like, "Are you serious? Right? We just become best friends right now." Dude, it was bonkers.
It was crazy, man. So yeah. I mean, we're in it for the long haul, dude. I mean, I think we've made that very clear. A lot of people thought we were going to slow down by now, but we enjoy it. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing that we get to do. It's really good for the community. As like the content you bring is amazing. The content that we bring it's important to have this stuff out there. It keeps people engaged. It keeps the average paintball player interested in what we're doing, interested in professional paintball, interested in the sport. It bridges the gap between the players in the industry. It just ties everyone together, and it's so important for the growth of the game. So we need you. We need us. We need, Let's Talk Paintball. We need Iconic. What Quinn's doing is just fantastic. We need all of these different avenues that are complements to Go Sports and complements to the NXL if we really want to grow. Carl, something that we've been saying recently is I truly think paintball is like on the verge of exploding. I really do. It feels like the early or mid 2000s where there's just a ton of excitement around paintball. There's all these creators that want to write about paintball or film paintball, or there's so much media and buzz around it. We're getting shared on Sports Center, all this stuff. The sport is in a great spot. And the more people that pop up, the more people that do these kind of shows, the more stuff that keeps people engaged in paintball content, the better, period.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like
rant.
well, and to go off that, I think that the creator, the product, keeps the creator engaged. Like
Absolutely.
so us even just doing this is keeping us excited about the next thing, about the next podcast,
Mhm.
about the next event or whatever it is. And it's like this little cycle. As long as you're in love with the game and you're in love with what you do, you're going to continue doing that. So this little closed loop that we have of creating content and then setting that content aside, moving on to the next content. It's just this revolving door, right? That just keeps us engaged and keeps us kind of looking for the next guest or to talk about the next paintball thing or whatever it is. And I really think that just the act of creating the content is keeping us involved in the game.
Totally. I've
Well, it
become a
has for
better
me
player
anyway.
because of
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've become a better player because of the podcast. You know, one, it's like we say things on here, and part of that is something that will make us stay accountable as well. You know, like spoken word is an important thing, and you know, I know it was something. You know, back in the day, I was a lot more active with my day to day on Instagram. You know, and a lot of it was for my own accountability. Like, okay, I put that out there, I have to follow through with this. You know, whereas people would say, "Oh, you just want attention or followers or whatever." No, really, it's an accountability thing. You know, like if I put something out there, okay, I definitely have to follow through. You know, I'm not gonna go back on my word. You know, and so the podcast has been a great platform to kind of evolve and talk about things that we want to do. And then once you talk about it, you got to go out and do it. You know,
it's a great decompression too.
Sure.
You know, like thinking, just being able to express yourself about a certain subject or just your opinion on something. It's a great decompression. It's almost like a weight off your shoulders. At least for me, it's like you have these conversations and you see these different perspectives and you get enlightened, and at the same time you have this freeing because you're getting all this internal kind of flow out of you into the other person and into the conversation, and it's like this kind of gradual tug and pull, but it's at the same time it's very freeing for me. And it's one of the reasons why I stay connected to the sport, because I feel like if I didn't do the podcast, I'd still probably watch Go Sports here and there, but I don't think I would have the engagement that I don't think I'd be playing today. But I don't think I would have the engagement and the drive to still want to fall in love with the game as I
do you
did,
watch
but didn't.
Do you watch every event live as it's happening? Like from start to finish?
I can't, but I watch film all the time, and
Gotcha.
I go back. It's like it's like that little move, little certain moves during the game. I'll go back and watch, and I'll dissect them, like the 1-on-1 or the 2-on-1 that you had. I'll dissect it, and I'll try and think about your thought process in the whole thing, and then I'll see it, I'll confirm it, and then I'll move on, and I'll kind of deconstruct that, but then reconstruct it in the match on how that made a difference. And even moves, like I'll look and I'll watch tendencies on guys, and I'll be like, okay, he is going to move, and then he moves, or you know what, and I'll try and gather as much information. I don't know even what kind of information you would call that, but I would gather all that kind of information, right? And that data, right? Exactly. And I would store that for whatever reason. This is even before I was going to play or even thought about playing. I would just store that as like a keeps me feeling like I still know what's going on mentally, as far as like cues from guys on how they play and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm still on the same plane and thought process as a lot of these top end guys. I might not be playing, but at least the thought process is still there on how they're moving around and how they're operating on the field.
Absolutely. Yeah, even when you watch like top level basketball or football, you know, just looking at the players and how they react in certain situations and cues like you're talking about, all those little details are the most important, you know, and especially in our line of work where we have to step out there. It's a lot different than just watching an NBA player or an NFL player, because you have to go compete in your realm. But all those cues are the details that you have got to be storing, like you said, in order to have that advantage when the moment arises and you're heads up with, you know, that player or that organization that you've been studying. So it's, if you can, like we always talk about, get someone, even if it's anything, get any film that you can, watch that film, because you're going to see all those little details.
Yeah, and read the situation. Read this, like watch the game as if you're reading the situation from the sideline or from being on the field. Like read the situation on like, okay, well, like if you're watching it live, like try and think ahead before anything happens. Like this is what I'll do is I'll be watching it. I'm like, dude needs to go. Like I'll just be thinking that, and either he will or he eventually will, or I'll like, oh man, like, oh, just switch sides, switch. I'll kind of be doing that and be engaged in watching on how everybody's playing. But it's almost like you're trying to think about that position and how to play it, instead of like kind of just very plainly watching just the monotony of what could paintball could be sometimes, and just kind of watching paintball players, shoot their markers. It's more or less like being in the situation and studying that. I feel like I think that needs to be conveyed a lot more, because I think just telling people to watch film is great, and we do it all the time, right? But I think really understanding why you're doing it. It's almost like another drill, right? It's like you're not just going through the motions. You're not just sitting there and you're not just watching 5 players play the game and do this and do that or whatever. Like break it down. Like even if you're not with the team, if you're by yourself, break it down and really go through the situation in your head, and then move on to the next situation. Don't just like sloppily watch and rewatch your own stuff. Like watch all the games and
Absolutely. You got to ask yourself good questions. It's no different than when you're playing and asking good questions out on the field. Be doing that kind of question asking while you're watching film. And like you said, Carl, kind of try to predict the game as well. Like, oh, turn left. You should be going right now. Like play actively in your mind as well, because it's going to make you way more creative, which is how you've been able to make such a big name for yourself, is off of that creativity. And that unorthodox play style is going to get you major production when you get into those higher realms of paintball.
Yeah.
Got to be creative.
I built up a good shield.
Yeah, well, you're damn fast and you do unorthodox things, and that's how you get really good. Got to play the game.
I can't say enough things about the importance of watching film. I do agree, you got to watch with intention, but there's still a ton of value of just watching. I know this personally from watching basketball, and I didn't really know what I was looking for or how, I didn't understand what questions to ask really. I mean, maybe a little bit, because I know what it's like to watch film and paintball. So maybe I'm like subconsciously picking up on things, but 10 years ago when I first started playing basketball, I watched basketball all the time, favorite sport to watch. And I would watch for the enjoyment, but when I would go out and play basketball, I would like read passes. I would read defenses subconsciously, because like I know that it was because of watching so much basketball. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to pass right now. I'm supposed to drive right now. I'm supposed to create spacing right now here. Like these are things that I picked up from watching the pros do it, and I didn't really know what I was looking for when I was watching. I was watching for pure enjoyment, but just seeing these formations over and over and over and over resonate with you subconsciously. So even if you don't know what to look for, watching paintball is so crucial. I ask players all the time. We have players that come to clinics and, they tell me how much they want to go pro and their goals are to be the best and yada, yada, yada. And I ask them if they have a Go Sports subscription, if they watch, and they say no.
I'm crazy.
I'm mind blown. I am absolutely mind blown. So you don't know like what the best players in the world are doing right now. You don't have any idea like how they're performing out there. I mean, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So if you, you got to watch the pros, you got to watch the pros.
But I have a question for you guys, and then pertaining to this subject, and then I have a comment for Tyler. So first the question, what would you guys prefer? You watching the game, net side, bleachers, or Go Sports?
As a player or a viewer?
Just as yourself, a veteran player. How do you prefer to take in the game?
I'm definitely gonna watch. Well, I play both sides of the field, so just whichever side I'm going to be playing more, so I can watch the opponents I'm going to play against heads up. Go Sports is really effective as well, but I would have to say,
like taking in the game in general, just
from
like
the bleachers, or I like to be on site and watch like that if it's a really important. Now, I think, like I said, I can get all the information I feel like I need from watching Go Sports, but there's something unique and special about being on site and just watching it right there.
Yeah. So for me, it's Go Sports for sure. When I'm at the field, it's good to watch in person. I feel like you get a better view and you're not going to miss things. There's definitely, when I'm watching Go Sports, sometimes they don't show the team's breakout. So you might miss a point or two out of the whole match, which could prove to be a crucial thing. But for me, at the end of the night, and I need to do it by myself. I don't know if it's ADD or ADHD. I mean, I've never been, diagnosed with anything, but when we have our team meetings and we're watching film, I don't get nearly as much. So I prepare for our team meetings and I try to watch the film that I know we're going to watch in the meetings beforehand, or I always afterwards, I have my iPad and I go through the film by myself because I can really hone in and I can pause and play, right? So I can look at footwork on the gate. I could look at body positioning. I could look at all sorts of little details, press play, go back 10 seconds, go through it again. And I can really break down things that I need to understand. Cues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cues.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. You can't do that in real time. You can't do that in person.
Yeah.
When you're at the field, I feel like we're super distracted. I feel like there's a lot going on, no matter how much you're trying to focus and whatever the job at hand is. So for me, I personally get the most out of watching Go Sports by myself at the end of the night, going through the things that I personally need to go through and watching things that I need to personally watch. Now, I think it helps if you watch in person and then you go back and break down the film, because if there's a point that you don't see, or if like maybe you don't see one end of the screen, your mind can put it together. You're like, oh, I know why this player is doing this, because Carl was on the other side in the advantage bunker, and so he had to attack quick.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, you got it.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, let it fucking melt into your brain and just think of it conceptually. But for myself, I prefer bleachers on the 50, on the very top corner, not talking, just watching and feeling the flow of the game on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. That's just me, like watching the momentum shifts, the different momentum shifts during the game. And I feel like at that point on the bleachers, with like leaning on the handrail, the corner of the handrail, in that spot, just watching the game and watching the momentum and like just seeing everybody kind of move and see the flow of the game happen. But
they're both so valuable, like both.
They are.
And I think it's a healthy dose of each. And if you're able to watch majority and then watch, on your own time, do your own studying and have that film in your pocket, which is so amazing, that we have that.
Yeah.
I think that if you're doing that, you're going to give yourself a really good idea of what you could see moving into those rounds when you play those opponents.
Yeah. And imagine there and watching somebody win a tournament via advantage bunker.
Dude.
In overtime. Dude. Insane.
Oh, so I think you would have to remove it in overtime. That would kind of be the thing.
You just broke his heart.
Maybe not. Who knows?
I think so. For me personally, just to kind of add, and I don't know if I'm giving away too many secrets, but that's what we do here on PTG. I know you do it over on Playing On too. We give it all away, baby. I try my hardest to not feel the emotion of the game, because from a scouting perspective, I feel like that doesn't quite benefit things that I need to know. So for example, like what really matters is knowing, where does this player like to go? If the other team gets into this spot, how does this player respond? If this player is lined up on the gate like this, what spot are they going to? Those are the things that are they're going to translate to the game that you play them in. Whereas the stuff that's based off of emotion might not. Mm-hmm. So it's
emotion. I think emotion and flow are two separate things. Emotion, flow, and momentum are two separate things.
Momentum and emotion are the same.
Right. But I don't think it's not like I'm watching pit side. I feel like if I'm watching pit side, that's more emotionally watching the game than I would be if I'm watching in the stands. So I think if I'm in the stands, I'm watching from a momentum standpoint and a flow standpoint. And I feel like when I'm in the pits, you have kind of the vibe of your pit. And I mean, the perspective is very narrowed at that point too.
Right. So my point, I see what you're saying, but I guess what I'm referring to is momentum swings happen because of emotion. Typically, like that's typically an emotional response. If a team wins in the finals, the 1-on-2, a 1-on-2 in the finals is a big momentum swing because it affects the other team emotionally. That's all I mean by it, right?
True.
So
yeah.
so to me, like when I'm watching games, I try to, well, there's definitely some benefit there. You can understand what might upset the other team, what kind of stuff might help you get that momentum. So there's value for sure.
Yeah.
From a analytical perspective of like what the other team's going to do, trying to predict, where my opponents are going to be or where my opponents like to get to or what parts of the field are strong for them. That's where I try to remove that just so I can kind of have that understanding of, because we might never see that version of them in our match. We might never get that emotional state from them, for whatever reason. So just knowing what they want to do is like the most important thing. It's a game of predicting, right? Being hard to kill, surviving, and
playing the game,
being one step, play the game, be one step ahead of your opponent. Play the game, baby.
I was so I said it was going to be a comment, but it's not a comment. It's a question. Tyler.
Okay. Yes.
When are you going to get a fucking nasty tiger tattoo on the side of your neck, dude?
Holy shit.
Now we're talking.
No, that is a question. What do you mean? That's not a comment. That's a fucking question.
That's a statement,
I said I had a comment, but I didn't have a comment. It was a question. I was like, when are you going to get that tattoo on the side of your neck?
Do you think that people will still let me inspect their houses with a tiger neck? Would that be okay?
Totally,
bro. You are not good. What are you talking about? PTG to the fullest, bro. Let's go. You got to get the tiger
dude, you're
tattoo.
not going to be.
That's full commitment.
Yeah,
dang,
you're going to be podcasting.
Maybe I'll just do like a
soon,
sleeve, maybe some type of sleeve or something. You know,
tiger.
Maybe
just
have the tail come up onto your face.
Tiger. There we go. Yeah, just make the tail link up with my mustache, and I'll just have the tail running up my neck to my mustache. That'd be perfect. And then I'll dye the mustache tiger striped.
Oh my god.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
That's a home run. We're going for it.
Yeah, we are.
Dude, thank you, man. This has been so much fun, man.
Bro, are you serious? Thank you. This is the best. Godfather in the game on PTG.
No, don't say that. That makes me feel really old.
Well,
you're pretty old, bro. How old are you, by the way?
I'm only 36.
Okay.
Only.
Young buck.
I'm only 36, man. You're as
I know.
Old as you feel.
I'm right around the corner.
Yep. Hey, 28 and holding. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I thought we were
Shane Howe. Shane Howe's 83.
In the
Still
game.
doing what he's doing.
In the game.
With a
We
chain
seriously have to get
that
Shane
weighs more
on
than
the
he
DM
does.
show.
I actually just saw Shane this weekend. He's coming on immediately. Also,
Yeah,
Dave gave us the word. Mr. Baines will be coming on the show shortly as well.
There you go.
Beast man. Nice
Beast man.
Oh, congrats, by the way, Ty, on the Big Cat Factory win.
Thanks, bro.
I think Carl mentioned it.
I mean, it's really, honestly, thank you. Winning that, it means a lot to me on so many levels because of the people involved. And it's just so much fun playing hyperball and out in the thicket. That style is so much fun. I wish we could play more hyperball. Like
hyperball is shit, dude.
Real 5v5 or 10-man hyperball is just something just crazy out there. The sound of the paintballs hitting the bunker,
That's
the style of play.
Just the sound, dude. Just the sound gives you this whole vibe and this whole thing. It's like that's paintball. It's like when you hear that crack of the ball. It's
don't get me wrong, I love bounce shots. I'm a bounce shot pro. Love
you
to
hate
use bounce shots,
bro. Nobody.
Listen.
Guys,
Hey,
I'm the only one that actually likes bounce shots.
Before I get over
don't
talked
lie
here,
to the people.
I appreciate bounce shots because it's a part of the game, and I'm going to play this game as professionally and as hard as I can, and use every angle that I can. Always, to me personally, I think paintball should be barrel to barrel contact with eliminations. That's just me. I think it's more
that sounds
exciting.
fun.
I think
Barrel to barrel.
Yeah, I mean, when a player gets shot, it's because
Barrel
he
to
has
player.
barrel to player. Yeah. So
Okay.
barrel to player.
Like farm to table over here.
Barrel to barrel would be even more exciting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's some good fun paintball.
Nobody comes out on barrel hits.
No, like barrels up. You know, like my barrel's pointed at you, your barrel's pointed at me. Barrel to barrel.
There you go.
B2B.
Yeah, B2B. I just think that it's more exciting. I think that it's more exciting. Nobody wants to see someone shot on a bounce shot. I'm just going to put it out there.
Dude, if you slow motion a bounce shot, I fucking guarantee you people would lose their shit. I guarantee you people would lose their shit. What? That bounced off of a bunker and broke on that dude's goggles?
But I think it would be, I think it would be great, though, to find the bounce shots. To find the bounce shots, like, okay, so this is another controversial thing that I think you guys talk about normally is like the layouts.
Let's get into it.
Is like is having, do you have a blind layout or do you have the 2 weekends before? Like I heard both sides and I've weighed both sides. But I think it's so much more fun.
Oh, you're a blind layout guy. I know you're a blind layout guy.
100%.
Yeah, that makes sense. You fucking close your eyes, run to the 50.
So, but listen,
I've had enough, dude.
But listen to this.
He's had enough.
A good example, right? You went back and watched practice footage of things that you did at the tournament at practice. Right? So high level players will find all these things faster than all the players who aren't putting in the work.
I think that's never been the debate.
But I think regardless of whether or not a field layout is put out beforehand, players will still play paintball the weekends before.
Yeah, but there's less intention in the practice. There's less structure. There's less professionalism in the weekends leading up to the event. You know, the fact of having a focus, a layout, I think it's one of the most unique things that our sport has that no other sport has. It's a unique caveat that like we prepare for a specific field. Like it makes the whole preparation that much more interesting, in my opinion. You know, whereas other sports, it's, you know, where the hoop's going to be, it's 10 feet. You know, you know the dimensions and you go through your plays and all that kind of stuff in practice. And it's all about, you know, if you can run good routes. And paintball is unique in the fact that you're getting high level minds that get together for the weeks leading up to an event and break something down and figure out the best way strategically to attack this field. I think that's a fucking cool thing in our sport. I think it's something that should be highlighted and talked about more. You know, that the strategy and everyone that shows up at this event, they've had time to strategize on this. And it's who's going to come in with the best strategy? Who has the smartest players that figured this out the best? I think it's, yeah. I mean, I stand pretty damn firm on that.
But doesn't that happen on Thursday if it was a blind layout and you have players that will figure, you know, the high level IQ players that will walk the field and figure that out faster than the other players? Don't you just have that in a smaller time span on Thursday leading up to the event?
Yeah, it removes the excitement of the preparation leading up to the event. You know, so like honestly, once you get to a point like not to throw shade, but we could literally not practice. If it was a blind, look, we're not practicing for Dallas, knock on wood, I guess we might just get last place. Like we're not even going to practice before Dallas, you know? And I bet you we show up, break down that field and place pretty well, you know?
Okay. So it's just the way. My point. So you just proved my point, right? So you can show up and play as a team and break a field down, but you're saying the preparation beforehand, but you're gonna do that right anyway when you show up to the field. Hold on.
Whoa, you're going all over the place. I didn't just prove your point. I never disagreed that yes, the more experienced players are going to be able to break that field down faster than others, for sure. Of course, that's how it's going to go. But it's going to be done at a less. It's going to be done less than if you have those 2 weeks. You know, when high level players and teams have those 2 weeks, they get to an elite level on the field, you know, and so you're seeing the best of the best. You're seeing separation,
repetition,
you know, and I think separation is good. You know, like the separation is, in my opinion, it's good. It shows. I know so many of the moves that are done in the event that look cool they'd been done in practice. You know, me personally, blind layout, I'm going to play more conservative. I'm less likely to just make a blind move hoping that it works. I'm going to play more conservative and try to win team paintball. That's my style.
H2K, you know?
Maybe, hard to kill. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Maybe the players that just blindly make moves will be rewarded. But to me, the fact of having a focus that coming into an event, the best teams in the world, the top, the 20 pro teams had this time to figure out how they want to play this field, this specific field for this specific tournament. It's the only time this field's ever going to be used in the history of the sport. So it's important. This field is important. And we had weeks to prepare and figure out what you want to do on that field. Who's going to come in with the best game plan, the best strategy? Who's going to have the most answers for another team's attack or defense? I think that's a very interesting part of the game. I totally understand, like, I guess I don't really understand the blind layout argument. I mean, I just really don't, because it's to me, it's like dumbing down our game. Why do we want to dumb down our game? I want to see the best of the best. I want to see the best of the best. The more time that the good teams have, the better players, the top end players have with the layout, the more separation I believe they create. So yes, I think if it's a blind layout, you're still going to see that separation. But the more time you have with that layout, I think there's more separation. I don't buy into, not anymore at least. I think maybe you could make the argument when fields were the way they were 5-6 years ago, really open lanes, and the game had gotten to a point to where it was so technical that you can take the 20th place team, and as long as they drill, Monday through Friday on that field, they're going to perform because they're going to shoot two people off the break, and fundamentally they're going to outclass the other guys, and it's not as strategic. That's just not really the way the fields play anymore either. The whole point of the blind layout is what? To make the game more exciting. Isn't that like the cornerstone of the argument?
Honestly, I think it's to shake everything a little bit up to where it evens out the game, I think is what a lot.
Even out the game. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope if that's the argument, that's crazy too. Why do we want to dumb down the game? Why do we want to even out the game?
Well, no, just because there's certain people that don't have the funds necessary to maybe have that much time or have the capabilities to do certain things.
Cases of paint at practice or whatever it may be.
So perfect. To me, if you're a professional, I want to see the best of the best. I don't want to say, hey, sorry, Kansas City Chiefs, you guys can't practice Monday through Friday because you know what? The Cincinnati Bengals, they can't practice Monday through Friday. So like, that's fucking crazy to me.
Oh, what about this perspective of like, let's say Dynasty gets, 100 cases over the weekend to practice, 100 cases each weekend to practice the layout as a pro team, right? But then Revo only gets 50 cases per event. So even though we still have those 2 weekends, it's still regulated on how much we can really, stay and play or how much time is spent on that field. I think the whole,
that's my point.
But what I'm saying is like, I think the whole reason behind the blind layouts are that everything is found in real time. All the bounce shots are found in real time. All the moves are found in real time, and the cream of the crop will rise to the top, because I think the best players still not practicing like a field per se, but still practicing with their team will figure out a field Thursday, walking it. And then by Sunday, we'll have a solid game plan and be beating other teams with a solid game plan and still have exciting paintball. I bet you in Dallas, those games and everything are going to be just as exciting as the games that were happening at the last event.
Yeah, but that's a byproduct of the layouts and how many bunkers there are on the field and how small gaps are. So yeah, I agree. It's still going to be exciting. And I agree. The cream of the crop is still going to rise to the top. But when the intention is to dumb the game down or make it easier for teams that have less access or less funding, I mean, look, for the most part, I'm a capitalist. I believe in, if you can do it, go do it. Like if you have the means to practice more and put in more time, you should be rewarded for the fruits that are going to come from that labor. Why does it have to be easier for others because others can't do what say Impact can do. And honestly, it makes the challenge even that much more great. You know, like if a team like say Level, and I don't know Level's financial situation, that's what makes the Level story so amazing, is that they appear to not be one of the heavily funded teams that goes out and buys players and can practice, you know, Monday through Friday, and they still come and perform the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
What does the story look like if there's no, to me, again, it's about practice. When you look at sports,
I have to agree with you on this. I agree that I love the amount of professionalism that goes into the process.
Exactly.
That
to me is the biggest thing. Like what does the process look like if it's a blind layout? Yes, you're going to go practice, but what's the point of doing? I mean, I guess you could say island drills are always going to be beneficial because you're working on teamwork, but you cannot break it down to the little details. In basketball, they're not, when you're practicing plays, you're practicing spacing. You're shooting from the exact spot that you're going to shoot from in the actual game. You have details that you can work on. Without a layout, there's no detail that you can work on leading up to the event.
What if you practice the same field, even though it's going to be a different field at the event? What if you practice the same field the 2 weekends before the event?
What? Say that again?
So you're saying the whole, like, you're dissecting the field that you're going to play at the event the 2 weekends before. But let's say you play the same field, even though it's going to be different at the event. Let's say you play the same field twice, the 2 times before the weekend, and you break down that field with your team, just like you would, like you're going to be playing that field at the event. You're going to come up with the same result, correct?
What? No, because what are you talking about, Carl?
Well, hear me. No.
What's in that coffee cup?
No,
Hold on a second.
Listen, hear me out. Like the whole reason, the whole reason behind it, right, is to get better, break down a field, figure everything out, play as a team, and break down a field to where you know it inside and out, right? And to walk it and just to know it. So regardless of whether or not it's the field that's going to be at the tournament, or it's a completely different field the 2 weekends before, you're still breaking down a field. Going to the event.
Carl, so like no. Hold on. I got to stop you there because that is the craziest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Dude, what's the point in breaking down a field that you're not going to play the event on? There's literally no point.
So what was the point back in the 7-man days and everything before you even knew what the layouts were going to be? Then what was even the point of walking a field in general then?
Wait, I never said there's no point in walking the field. That's
right. But I'm saying, like, the general principle of walking and learning a field and learning the shots and learning how to play. Dude, paintball's paintball, right? In the end, paintball is paintball. And learning a field or learning angles or learning everything, because the fields are a little different, obviously, when you get to the field. They're somewhat different here and there. But I mean, learning a field and breaking it down and walking it is, you're going to learn the field too as you play, because as we all know, you might go into the tournament with these plays that are like rock solid, right? But then as soon as you get there, like, shit changes. But I'm saying, like,
that's part of it. Hold on. That there is exactly part of the high level teams foresee those things.
Yeah, this is getting good.
I do too. The high level teams foresee that. They say, okay, this is our game plan. It's really solid, but shit, what have we not seen so far in practice? Where's our weakness? What happens if a team hits us hard in this spot? Okay, maybe this is the counter.
Right.
You can't do any of that without a field. So practicing and dissecting a field that you're not going to compete on makes all of that whole process irrelevant, unless we're just talking about simply target shooting and snap shooting and off the break shooting. To me, that's the most uninteresting stuff in the sport of paintball.
Okay, but how many garbage practices have you had before events, but then you go and win the event or you place really well?
Yeah, but why is that? Why is that, Carl? Are you talking when you say? Let's clarify.
Even thinking about Dynasty, because you guys have done it to a T so many times, where you squeak through the prelims, and it looks like you guys are struggling on really trying to find the field still, and you go and you win the event.
Right.
Like,
I'm asking a serious question. Garbage practice? You mean like where you get beat up? Teams not playing?
Where
well?
It's just like it's one of those demeaning where it's like.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, because you're seeing stuff in practice, or when you squeak through an event, you're seeing stuff that you had not seen before. And if you can learn from it, it makes you that much more solid. It makes your team that much more solid. The whole bend, don't break applies even more. You're more prepared to, if a team shoots your snake player on the break and they make the snake on the break, instead of just folding because they got the advantage, maybe you had learned, okay, this means we have to come up to the center 50, wait for them. I know that player is going to crawl all the way down to our snake too. As soon as he pops up, I can get that shot on him. Boom. It's that it builds on the if this, then that process. And the more time these high level teams have to dissect a field, the more separation there is because of exactly that. And those bad practices where you don't play well, if you have the composure and the experience as a team, you will be better for sure. It's horrible when we go to practice and we win and all we do is win at practice because you haven't been tested. You haven't seen anything that's, could shock you in the event.
You haven't truly figured out the field, you would say, or would you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, because you don't have the opportunity to really. You can say that in conversation. You say, okay, hey guys, we won 90% of the points today, but look, if a team does this, it could be trouble, or if a team does that, it could be trouble. But experiencing it and thinking about it, two different things, of course, right?
Yeah.
I see validity from both standpoints.
Hot Carl, you're crazy.
No,
I love it, dude. I don't know.
He's on
I think differently.
There's validity to both sides, and I really appreciate them both because I love the professionalism of getting into the intricacies, because that's what's going to open up those doors during a game that otherwise might be shut and would actually stifle the excitement of the game, possibly if people aren't able to make those high level decisions. And you're kind of trying to find those. If you don't see the layout, you're finding those and trying to be the quickest to find them on a blind layout and put that together. But you might not find it and it might get missed. And that's something that would have otherwise been found with practice, with high level, participation from the team. So it's definitely a hot topic to talk about. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see.
Let's go back to intention, though. Like, what's the reason for it? I think you're going to see more exciting games? I don't.
I think what's great about this is it completely shows the kind of players that we are individually. Because I feel like having a layout and all the preparation and all this, the detail work is totally you, dude. You're totally all about that.
You said it earlier in the show.
Complete compliment. And then my chaos side and trying to find the advantage and trying to find the shots and
in the mess
while everybody else is still trying to figure it out at the same time, and I can do that before somebody else. I'd thrive on that. So I think this is great because it completely shows like the type of players that we are, and I love that we're having the conversation because I don't feel like I'm wrong or right, and I don't feel like you're wrong or right, and I just love to live in the moment.
You are definitely wrong. I love you, but you are definitely wrong.
That's okay.
Again, intention. Why do we want to do that?
Let's go to
the
questions
reason is
from
to even the playing
questions from the
GOAT squad.
No, you talk about whatever, man. We can talk about whatever.
You're not there yet, buddy.
I love the conversation, man. I love it.
I do too. I want to know, why does it make the game better? Why does a blind layout make the game better? And it seems like the only answer. I don't know that it makes it better. Well, hold on, let me finish. It seems like the only answer I could ever get from people is that it evens the playing field. That to me is a bad answer. If you could tell me that you think that it would make the game more exciting and you can show proof of concept of that and back it up, okay, maybe I'm with you on that. But I definitely don't think it would make the game more exciting. The average point time is like 90 seconds. 90 seconds is a long point these days.
No, I'm with you. It's definitely a balance. And the reason that I see validity from both sides is because we need that professionalism. But I also am always going to fight for equality for paintball players and making sure that that paintball players have a fair chance, dude.
You do have a fair chance. You're a professional paintball player. You should be.
But I wish that was true.
We're the best. We're supposed to be the best.
There's different circumstances.
Yeah, dude, we always talk about it. Like,
so it's
professional
a balance.
Paintball players,
I think it's a balance.
You got to eat well. You got to work out. You got to treat it. If we want to be treated like a professional sport, what do you always say, Ty? If we want to be treated like a professional sport, then we got to act like a professional sport.
Absolutely.
Let's, reward the teams that work harder and can play more leading up to the events.
I agree.
Who
can play more. But I think the two things that equalized the playing field or dumbed it down were when we went to ramping 10.2, where everybody shot the same amount of paint, the same tempo, the same whatever, and they could shoot with one finger and hold a lane. And when we went with layouts 2 weekends before. And that's all I'm going to say.
Wait, hold on. That's contradictory to what. So now you think that layouts 2 weeks before dumb the game down?
Yeah, because I feel like it's giving a bunch of people time to learn bounce shots and learn all this stuff when it's things that you should be learning and finding out mid-game, which make it exciting. That's only my perspective. I like finding that stuff before other people do.
I think that the more time a high-level player has with the field, the more separation that gets created. And so I thought we were just arguing. I thought we were, well, shit, it's kind of one or the other, right? I thought we were just arguing that a blind layout would make it a more even playing field. And so if we're making that case, then how can we also say that having the layout 2 weekends before makes it a more even playing field?
No. I'm not saying it's a more level playing field. I'm saying that the better players will still run through the gamut of figuring out the field just faster. Those high level players will do that faster than the others in real time, and then you'll see these bounce shots and everything be found in real time and then be used to their advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting conversation, and there's no
great conversation.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's fun to go through all of the details, and there's
a right answer.
Okay, sure. There is a right answer. I'll give you that. There's a right answer. But it's fun to go
Not
through
saying it's mine, but
all
I'm
the
just saying
details.
there's a right answer,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there are different ways to play paintball too. So which way is the right one?
How about semi-automatic?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, right. So okay, 100%. We're on the same page there. We should be semi-auto for sure. Like uncapped semi-auto. I think we have the technology to make sure there's no cheater boards in this day and age. Shooting the gun fast should be a damn skill. 100%.
It is. Holding a lane offhanded
yes,
and keeping somebody in and loading is a skill.
Yeah.
When somebody is holding a lane with one finger and this is all they're doing and they're just doing this, or even right-handed, or even running and shooting to a corner or wherever, dude. To be able to do that with obviously faster because you're shooting it faster, but you can kind of like gauge out lanes a lot better, and like you can see a rhythm that a guy is holding. You can tell when a guy is loading. Like these things we obviously know from playing the game. Exactly.
Oh, he's loading.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome.
I was just at the ICPL this weekend with Cap and everything, and like you got Mike Paxson out there. We're playing mechanical, and everybody else is shooting a certain speed. Mikey is just raining, man. Like he's got that gun humming.
I know how to solve that. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, dude, all these mechanical guns are shooting fast. Dude, it will not be a true mechanical event unless you go to gravity-fed loaders. Go to gravity-fed loaders,
yeah, you're right.
And now you regulate how fast you can actually shoot whatever mechanical marker you're operating.
That sounds like true semi, but through the loader. Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but it's true. Like you have all these guys that are walking like a manual marker, and you're like, come on, man. Like is like really? Yeah. The only reason you're able to do that is because you have a I don't even know the fucking loaders now. The R2 or whatever loader you guys use. All the loaders they feed way more than 10 balls a second or whatever it is. So
it would be interesting to see like with the way that the mechanical triggers have been working, from what I can see, it's almost like, you can walk those essentially.
Yeah, totally.
And it would be interesting to see what that would look like having like a mechanical gun on the pro field or what that, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Or people start making loaders specific for that, like the Eclipse, that pops loader or whatever it is, or something that's mechanically like, it doesn't force feed. It's just like an agitator almost.
I like the one finger balling though. That's pretty fun.
It's so fun, dude.
I still even ramping, I walk the trigger. It's like the only way that I shoot. That's how I shoot. It's same. I shoot as if I'm shooting semi-automatic. It's just it's comfortable. I mean, all three of us here grew up where that was a thing, right? So
yeah.
It's like always been how I.
Yeah, the skill when I was like younger in my career, it was a
Good skill
big
to
skill
have.
set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
Because it was that was
a good skill
control.
set.
Like that was you control somebody by the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
you do.
And I mean now, yeah, it's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's crazy how many different styles of paintball we've played. You know, and we've played capped, uncapped. We've played tournaments where we don't see the layout, tournaments where we do see the layout. You know, we've played all these different styles. And I will say, more so than ever right now, the game is extremely exciting and just fun to watch. And I feel like the competitiveness is at an all-time high. And like overall for the pro bracket, the competitiveness is at an all-time high as well, which is exactly what you want to see.
It's insane how good you guys are.
Well, bro, you know what's up.
Right,
You've been
there,
playing.
brother. Yep.
Yeah. And
although I
just,
get what you want to do with this damn blind layout. All right. I get it.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
It's all good intention. It's for the love of the sport, Marcelo. Jeez.
Yeah.
For the love of the game.
Dude, Carl,
how are we gonna have hard knocks? You know, like a hard knocks thing, style thing, following a team, watching them break down the layout in the weeks leading up. Dude, it's just lends itself to so much more content for what we're doing.
You're right.
Yeah, content.
Damn,
I agree 100% with you, Marcel.
Hey, Carl.
You know, I think it's about time you came around to the light side. Good job.
Whatever I can do to make you feel better.
Dude, got it.
You're
Cha-ching.
Right. Got it.
Done deal.
Yes. There we go. Yeah,
Carl, how did you start in the there we go, some crickets. How did you start in the podcasting world? Like, what was your entry point into podcasting?
So mine was just I was on Mike Zapp's podcast, the Paintball podcast, and then I really fell in love with the platform itself, like listening to Rogan and really how he did it was just very, very free conversation. And then
so you had a field layout, kind of a game plan.
Yeah, very much structured behind. I had 2 weeks prior before I started, and then I really went in professionally. But no, it's I really kind of structured it on that, and I didn't really know, what to do or what to talk about. And I think the very first episode, I just kind of talked about like rumors, moves, some things that were happening. And Tyler, actually, you were the first. I believe you were the first pro guest on the podcast. And Marcelo, you weren't too far behind. I think you were like, yeah, you were within the teens, I think.
Yes, sir.
I would love to go back and listen to that one just to see. It's always so cringy to listen to yourself from like 3 or 4 years ago. And I feel like if it's not cringy, then you haven't grown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you haven't evolved at all. But it's like anytime I listen to interviews of myself from years back, I'm like, oh my Jesus, what are you saying, dude? Well, I'll probably listen to this one in like 4 years and listen to my stance on blind layouts. I'm like, oh, what a jackass.
Who knows, man? The game is changing every 2 years.
Dude, we're just straight back to the humble gratitude. Like, we're just grateful to be in the game and be able to connect with like all these amazing players. And I know you feel the same way. All these different outlooks, all these different insights and perspectives, and just great people in this sport and beyond. I know we have people from all walks of life, and it's a really fun thing that we're so fortunate to be able to do.
Yeah, and I feel like I have a platform to like express all of my crazy ideas on, and maybe somebody would like listen to it and run with it, like the Advantage Bunker or something like that. But it's also because I want to help the game progress, the same like you guys. With all of your with everything that you're bringing forward as far as for the podcast realm and game, and for the game itself and the progression of paintball and competitive paintball. I think this is a great way to exchange ideas and perspectives. And I think it's a great opportunity to really feel and listen to how top pro players and people in general in the community really feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
agreed.
Truly, man. Yep.
Absolutely.
And then in regards to you got some for him?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in regards to podcasting, it's an art form, essentially. It's like another medium. And I love what you said about, the connection that you have with so many different people and being able to take styles from different areas of life, from different other podcasters as well, and just kind of make your own style and your own medium and create the story, the storybook that you're presenting to the world, which is really fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely an art form. And no, I agree with Tyler. Carl, I think that you're fantastic at being engaging, I guess. I guess like the cadence in which you communicate with people, I find enjoyable. There's some people you listen to them talk and it's kind of, it's tough to listen to them. It's tough to sit there and you do a great job of having a good flow to the conversation. So it's, just love what you do with the show. Really do.
I appreciate it.
You got to come on your show now.
Same. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime, and you guys, I'm sure you guys have gone through this where you've had to kind of carry a conversation in many directions because the guest is a person of few words, which is
fucking Skinny Kevin.
Tough,
I love him,
dude.
Oh my God, Skinny was so hard to have on the show. It was like literally pulling teeth to get him to say things.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, just as professionals on the paintball field, we're professionals here, and we ride through the conversation and we figure it out and we just we make it listenable.
That's it.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, man. What do you say we get into some of these Discord questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's some of those. I have some questions for you, personal ones that we'll get into. Just about, you've played for some iconic paintball teams. So we'll get into some Discord,
let's get into the personal ones first.
Yeah,
Discord can wait.
I want to talk about Excessive. You played for Excessive, which is one of the biggest paintball organizations ever to roll through paintball. What was that like, being on that team at that time?
Dude, I was starstruck when I got on that team. It was a huge learning curve for me when I joined on, because at the time I thought I was good at paintball. I was not good at paintball. You get on a team like that and they show you very quickly what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and when it needs to be done. And they took this little tiny chunk of talent that I had at the time, and they really helped mold me into somebody who could consciously play the game and control, for the most part, control my emotion, but also extract the most amount of performance out of me, and do it in the most elegant way, with the way Rich did it, with the way Maddie did it, and Micah, and everybody on that team had such a significant role in bringing the best out in me, and also directing me into recognizing the flaws that I had and what I need to work on. They did a great job of balancing that out.
I love that. Yeah, that's superstar team, just stacked to the brim, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, let's talk about your Tippmann Effect days too. What years were that exactly?
I started playing paintball in 2002, early 2002. Ended up playing for Tippmann Effect because they practiced at a field that I first started playing reffing at a paintball field before I started playing.
Okay.
Heavily.
Awesome. How did you get into the reffing before playing?
There was a job opening.
Oh wow,
dude!
I was like, yeah. And I
started as a ref.
Yeah, I played twice. Before that, and then not far away was an indoor paintball field, and they had a job opening, and I applied and I got it, and from there on, I was like, dude, hook, line, and sinker. Which reminds me of the story that I want to tell you guys about how I almost died.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So it was very early on in my interactions with paintball equipment and everything, and a guy came over and he handed me a tank, and he says, I need my fill nipple like replaced. I was like, okay. So I turn over to the gauge says 0. I'm like, okay, cool, all I gotta do is take it off, just put a new one on, right? Simple enough. So I take it, and it's not warm or anything like that. So like, it's not
no signs.
First indication of like, okay, this guy just filled this tank. So
Yeah.
I take it, I start wrenching on the fill nipple, and I hear a
Oh.
yeah, and then it goes away. I'm like, okay, well, it's got to be just like residual air or whatever like that. I turn it again, boom, blows the fill nipple past my head, like throws my hat off, sends me back like this. There's a drop ceiling light ahead of me or above me, blows that up and over on top of itself. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, my ears are ringing and I'm sitting there and my eyes are open. So the gauge was broken and the guy forgot that he had got it filled like a week before or something like that. Dude. And just completely like messed with me for a while.
Yeah.
And then because it was essentially a bullet.
Traumatic.
Like just a bullet grazing my head and just but anyway,
Jeez,
after a week or so later,
crazy.
I came back to work and I was just like, all right, well, I just need to recognize that I don't need to work on any of that stuff for a while until I learn more about it. And luckily I'm still here to talk about it, but it was great. I really learned a lot.
Yeah.
I really learned a lot. And it's nothing, something like an experience like that will really kind of get your blood going.
Sheesh. And how far into your working there when this happened?
Oh, it was days.
Days.
Oh no.
It was definitely days.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Well, dude, yeah. Thank the powers that be that thing didn't go anywhere else and that you're here with us now, because that definitely could have been catastrophic.
Oh yeah.
And what did the guy say? I mean,
well, nobody knew. Yeah, nobody really knew what happened until like they kind of came in and saw everything afterwards. Yeah. And the guy eventually apologized. He was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, gauge is broken. Forgot that I got it filled, whatever." But I was like, sorry, bro. Things happen.
Sorry, bro.
I moved on.
Oh man, that's a
you
wild
live and you
one,
learn. Yeah.
Tanks, it's crazy that we run around with these things. We have these like mini bombs under our. Yeah, it's kind of nuts for sure.
Those are highly pressurized.
Yeah.
Carl, I feel like I know we've talked about this before. I honestly forgot if you were on the team or not. But were you on that Tippmann Effect team that we used to battle it out with when I was on Aftermath in 05, D3? Like we were in the finals against each other almost every year. You weren't. I think I used to think you were, and then I found out you weren't.
No, it wasn't Aftermath. It was 2003. It was 2003, and we played the Hostile Kids.
Okay.
And
so you'd already
like
moved
Division
up.
2 or something like that.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of when I started getting more competitive, is like the 2002 or end of 2002, 2003 season. And then 2004, I turned pro with Tippmann Effect 7-man.
Oh shit!
And then that's how I got discovered by Excessive, because of the amateur team. Or we weren't amateur, but we were amateur, but we had a pro title. But we played against all these other pro teams, and which I got recognition just because play style, whatever, speed. But then at the end of the 04 season is when I got picked up. I played 04 World Cup with Excessive.
I see.
So gotcha. What was your rookie team? Did you go straight into competitive
Tippmann
paintball
Effect?
with Tippmann?
No, so we had a small local team called Cold Limit, which was
Cold Limit.
Yeah, all right. Like a little 3-man team. I think we played one tournament and didn't win anything, but we were super proud of our jerseys, and we even got Cold Limit on the back. And,
there we go.
And we just felt good, and we were just happy to be there and happy to find something that we all enjoyed together. And then once I found that there was like this whole competitive side, obviously a lot of videos, magazines, and everything helped propel that into a passion for the sport. And then obviously Eric, who owned the field, letting us play every single Wednesday, every single weekend, and just really honing in our love for the game and addiction at that point really helped just kind of find my way.
You guys had those Tippmanns dialed in. You had the double trigger with all the details, all the add-ons. I remember Tippmann, that was my very first paintball gun I ever had. So when I saw like the Tippmann Effect players and their Tippmanns, I was like, what? This is crazy, Like they got some juice.
Well, I know that for I don't know if I have. Oh, hang on.
You got the Tippmann. He's got the Tippmann. I think you might have the Tippmann.
Tip
Dude.
Daddy.
So this is my manual one that I have pictures with that I first started when I was even playing 7-man and X-Ball with.
Dude,
What?
that's
manual.
super cool.
Like
Yeah.
I
What?
used this and played Snake and had a 16-inch barrel with a halo or with a Revy on top of this one.
Yeah.
And a
Legendary.
giant ass tank and everything. But then
Yeah.
the only time I ever did anything to my marker was I put an E-bolt in for 2004 for 7-man, and then I put a halo on, no eyes, no nothing, and then that's the only electronics. I never messed with it. I was not big at all on like cheater boards or I liked extracting the most I could out of a stock marker. Out of a stock board, out of everything, just turn it into semi-auto. Let me figure out the marker and really hone in my skills on the marker and go from there. I don't need anything else external to like aid my abilities. And a lot of other people did. I just didn't feel like I needed to, not because I thought I was better. I just felt like I was more of a complete player at that point and could be more honest with myself. But I just,
Dude, that's amazing that you have that gun.
Isn't it? It's a tank, dude. It's never.
Yeah.
It's
I
never
wish
going
I still
away.
had any of my first guns. That'd be
I
so
know.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I still pinch myself and think like, oh man, if I could ever find that ice blue angel fly that I had like before I went pro, that was like the gun that really I felt like took me to the next level, is like playing with that gun stylistically and then just applying myself really hard with that. So if anybody out there knows where that thing went, please drop me a line.
Yeah, shit. Same. I have an all black LCD Angel stock. You know, LCD Angel had the die volumizer on it.
Wow, you went
single
all out
trigger
on that.
frame. I had a single trigger frame on my Angel.
There we go.
Well, fun fact about
mine's really distinguishable. It has a shark drop forward, a great white shark drop forward.
I remember those. the marker that I fell in love with after I was because we won them. I think we won them for an Aruba tournament, or to go to an Aruba tournament. I think it was for IAO, a 7-man tournament. We won a Gen E matrix, like the skull kind of outline matrix, the big body ones. We won those. And with how soft those shot and how quiet those were, I fell in love with that platform of marker. And I just thought it was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely, no other gun had that quiet of a shot during that era, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a game changer.
Man, those guns were so big. All the guns back in the day were like, it's so funny because when they came out, you thought they were so small. But now if you see them, it's a brick.
Could you imagine using one of those shoebox shockers, dude? And go play front, by the way. Go play front.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No way. No,
I actually just got a Terry Fong. Thank you so much, Terry. He hooked me and my son up with a Dragon Intimidator. I have another one. Me and Theo are both getting Dragons, and we're going to be able to run around with those old like 2K5 Dragons together. But Terry blessed me with that this weekend at ICPL, and I was just like, when I shot that thing, I was 14, 15, and when I had my tank and barrel, loader, the whole thing all put together, that marker was like half as tall as I was. It probably went up to my hip, and it's just crazy to think that I was running around with that thing at such a small age. And then that's why, anything that we have today is going to be okay.
For sure.
Totally.
It's all within the realm of, capacity for what you need.
Adaptability.
Yeah. These guns that we had were straight up bricks out there just running around. It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Carl, what's one of your favorite memories from traveling internationally for paintball?
So the only international travel I've ever done for paintball was Australia.
It's a pretty damn big trip. And
it was awesome. I loved the people there, the event that happened. I went there twice.
Went to Mike Wybrew's Action Paintball?
I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah, in Sydney.
When the Super 7s were over there.
Yeah.
It was such an awesome experience, and I was young at the time, and it was such a cool place because it's like where I stayed at. You look to the right and there was like green mountains and everything, and then you look to the left and an endless ocean. It was just it's insane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
No, I love Australia. I can't wait to get back over there. They just finally had their first event. The Super Sevens just had their first event since COVID, since the shutdown. So hopefully things will kind of open back up and we can get back over there.
Yeah. Shout out to Australia. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're actually supposed to get Mike Weiber on the show here pretty soon.
There we go. That'll be great.
I bet you will.
Yes, Mike in the building. Hey, what is your jersey number significance? Does it have any significance for the number that you chose for your jersey?
So I was number, let's see. So when I first came out for Tipman Effect, I was number 419, which is my area code, which I totally stole from Avalanche at the time.
Yeah,
when they were doing all those. I believe it was Avalanche. Maybe it was
Cap.
The Cap. Yeah, Cap. But then my first number when I got onto Excessive was 12 because that's what they gave me.
Oh,
and so
really,
I had 12, and then I went to Avalanche, went back to 419, and then went to Infamous, and I think I started out with 12, but then I got 19. Or no, I couldn't get 19 because 19 was Travis's number. But I had number 19 back in high school for baseball. It was 13 and 19, but I eventually ended up with 19. And for some reason, it just kind of stuck. I don't know if it was just like you drop the 4 and it's 19 or whatever, but for some reason, for me, 19 shows up wherever. Like, dude, I'll be driving on the street or on the road or the highway or whatever, and I'll look over and just coming into reach is exit 19, or I'm like driving and then mile marker 19 like comes in, or I look at the back of a truck and the last 2 letters are 19 or numbers are 19. It's a number that's always followed me, and I feel like as long as I continue to follow it, that it just has been bringing me really great luck. I'm a weirdly superstitious person, but not to a weird, huge sense. But I just believe that there's a lot more than what we sense. And I think that for some reason, 19 is just a good omen for me.
There we go.
What's your number one paintball superstition?
One is definitely putting on my cleats before my pants.
I heard this somewhere. I must have heard it on your show. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I can't do joggers, man. If I wanted to wear pajamas, I go to sleep. I'm a big fan of like the paintball pants. But I would say another one would be blind layout. But I think another one would be like, I don't put my headgear on or anything until I'm fully dressed and my pack is on my back and I have my jersey on. Then I do my headgear.
You put your headgear on after your pack?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Oh, I love it.
Consciously.
Okay.
I consciously do this,
cleats,
Marcelo.
Cleats. Yeah, I know. That's actually the best part. So cleats before.
So hang on. So I'll roll you through. So I'll open my gear bag because everything has a place in my gear bag as well. So everything has a place in my gear bag. But what I'll do is like whatever jersey I'm wearing, I'll lay out in front of me with my name facing me. So because I know that's going to be the cleanest part. Because I'll do the same when I'm done playing. I'll take the jersey off, lay it on. I know my back is mainly the cleanest part for the most part because I'm diving all over the place. We know we all play paintball.
Yeah.
But I'll lay it on there. I'll step on there. I'll get undressed. I'll put my shorts on that I wear underneath my pants, and then I'll put my pads on, and then my cleats, and then I'll get my pants, and then I'll put my pants on, and then also. Completely practical reason of why I do it is when I take my pants off with my cleats on, I can still like step wherever I need to and I have shorts on, but I unfold my pants so they go inside out. So when I put them back in my gear bag, the dirtiness stays inside the pants and it doesn't get all over the place.
Wow.
We're cracking codes.
Okay, there's a method to the madness there.
Wait till you see the product that I have coming out this year. You guys are going to be blown away how we don't have it. It's game changing.
It's a changing mat.
And it's an H2K product, and it's something that is not on the market, and it's a problem that we have all run into ever since we started traveling and competing in paintball. And I can't wait till it comes out. No, it's not. It's I'm not going to tell you on here, but the patent is going through right now. I'm super excited for it, and it's I guarantee you guys are going to love it and use it. And
Dude, that's awesome.
Can't wait to show you guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is
Awesome.
so rad.
It's so simple. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
That's exciting though, dude. Good for you. Well, if it's wiser than the blind layout idea, I will fully support.
So much wiser. It's almost as good as the advantage bunker.
Dude, the advantage bunker is good. I like that.
We just got to convince Bart, because I tried to pitch it to him and he shot me down real hard.
Really? I'm surprised. I feel like he's.
But I
feel
didn't
like he's in a
explain
phase
it
where
as
he's like
well.
super. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, that's everything, right? If you could have the best idea in the world or best product in the world, if you can't sell it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was kind of hungry when I was explaining it to him.
That's a problem most of the time.
But maybe he'll listen to the podcast.
Dude,
and Tom and Dave and everybody will. What's up?
I want to know what this product is. You definitely sparked my curiosity.
You'll find out
you're
soon.
Gonna love it, man. You're gonna love it. I promise. I have metal prototypes coming in, and you're gonna love it, dude. And you're gonna go. It's one of those where it's like, why didn't I think of that? Because I said the same thing as soon as I got done designing it. I was like, why did it take so long for somebody to come up with this? Because it's such a practical
metal
problem.
prototypes.
So, yes, I'll leave it at that. Let's move on.
No. You were going to give something. Come on, give something for the listeners. You already have the patent pending, dude.
Yeah,
no one's gonna,
I told you,
know,
it was
like
metal.
Yeah. He's leaving little breadcrumbs.
Dude, I can't give you a slice of pizza because I know you're going to want to eat the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd still rather have a slice because I'm starving. So like at least
I know. I'd rather
have
leave
a slice. Can I just have like a bite so I don't die?
It'll hopefully come out soon, and you guys will be some of the first to get them.
Okay, awesome.
Wow,
how about that?
Cool, dude. Yeah,
dude.
Hell yeah.
H2K.
I love it. Innovation, baby. H2K.
That's
fully
awesome,
support.
brother.
For the love of the game, man.
That's it right there. What's your favorite music that you like to listen to before you play?
Before I play, I used to listen to really heavy stuff back in the day, and now I kind of wander off to a corner by myself and just kind of chill in the moment and really kind of connect myself and and just
sometimes I'll even read a book or something. I'll a good book that I've been reading. I'll bring it with me to the field, and I'll just like you said, find center in some words, because you already know where you're headed. You're going into battle, and there is a really unique balance that's found in the silence before the craziness. That's really powerful.
Yeah, because we're gonna do the huddle. We're gonna do all that stuff. That's great. But I need to find myself very quickly. Not very quickly, but just before I walk through the net, I just need to kind of just center myself real quick, and then I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, grounded, ready to rock.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. All right, Hot Carl, it's time for some Discord questions.
Let's go, PTG.
It's time.
Hey, I'm sure there's
No, there actually is quite a few.
Yeah.
We got quite a few here.
David Lurtsima. Hey, Carl, big fan. How did the collab with Planet Eclipse get reignited with your recent release of the H2K Geo4 and LV 1.6? Did that partnership help light the fire to play again?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I actually approached Planet at the end of 2019 about the idea. And we all know what happened not too long after the end of 2019. So I approached them about it. I was thinking of this whole idea of like a retro reboot of like taking an old design, putting it on a new marker, and just a way for them to sell some markers and also for me to kind of be relevant again and kind of just because I've had so many people come to me about that 3.5 design. Excuse me. And there's such a limited run, and I've had so many people ask me if I still had one and everything. I'm like, you know what? Let's do this whole retro reboot thing, or at least I'm telling myself this. Like, let's try this retro reboot. Let's get this design. Let's put it on a new marker. They actually had the idea of putting it on an LV, which I think turned out real good. But I was like, yeah, we'll do whatever. But I really think this design resonates for some reason with people. I like it, but it resonates, and I think we should give it a go. And hats off to Planet for trusting me and believing in me, because it's it's a big chunk of change to try and push on really something that's very unknown. And I know we've had a big relationship, or I've had a big relationship with Planet Eclipse, and I think that helped the trust. And that has definitely reignited my wanting to kind of get back out there to see that people are still excited about old things like myself.
Dude, it's a hot commodity, man, those guns, and they look really, really cool. So
thank you.
Hats off to you and your creative process and bringing that all together.
You know who actually was the so I had the concept for the graphics and for the layout and everything, and Sam Monville is the one who actually brought it to life.
Dude, Sam is the best. Sam's one of the dopest dudes in the world. I mean, like mullet flowing, mustache glowing, just crushing life. Shout out to Sam Monville.
So I gave him a sketch, and I was like, hey, this is kind of what I want the layout to be and what I want it to look like. And then he brought that back, and I was like, made a few small changes, and was like, let's run with it. And so big shout out to Sam.
Yeah, Sammy. All right, we got Alex99. He is wondering, what made you want to play paintball? That's his first question. And I would have to assume that he's talking about right now, probably stepping back into paintball.
Mm-hmm.
But what made you want to come back and play paintball?
Well, I'll do this. I'll say one of the reasons what made me want to play paintball in general, in the very beginning, what really attracted me to it was the difference between the feeling I had with any other sport that I was playing, with the adrenaline that ran through my veins when I played paintball for the first time. That difference and that rush was so profound that I had instant attraction to that, and it was like a huge dopamine rush, and I was just like, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I am in. The reason now I feel like, I don't feel like, I know the reason now is I know that I'm not getting any younger. I know that I can still physically, I have my limits, but I know that I can still play. But I think it's just the opportunity is right. They gave me an opportunity to come on and play for a house team out of Ohio, for a pro team out of Ohio. And I always thought that would be cool. And for them to give me the invitation, I think was amazing. And just to be able to help a team out to just go that extra mile to possibly help them reach that potential is a true honor and absolutely humbling. And I can't wait for that to happen.
Dude, that's so rad,
awesome,
man.
Dude. Hell yeah. All right, CB2K. He asks this question all the time. I love it. He goes, Carl, being an OG, would you bring back the box? And he's referring to the penalty box.
Is it like, does OG mean old guy?
Old guy, exactly.
Being old guy. As an OG, I would say no. I think
no.
I think the visuals and like the whole like coming out of the box, because most of the time you got lit up when you came out of the box. Very seldomly I feel like somebody came out of the box and like it made
Oliver
a difference.
Came out and like won a big point in one of the Sundays a long time ago. I remember that. Tyler, you were on the team, I think then, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Seldom, right?
Yeah.
Like super seldom like
for sure.
Good things happen. I think it's just I think the 1-for-1s and just being pulled off the field is just fine. I don't think serving a penalty in a penalty box, I think it's just going to confuse more and really kind of just take away from the game itself.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Second part to that question though. Yep. With your time away from professional paintball and now dusting off the old gray beanie, has your perspective on attacking the field changed, developed, or are we still going to see the snake off the break? Hot Carl.
Well, it's not a gray beanie. That's my hair. And the beanie was actually it was green at one time and kind of turned like a purple, because it's kind of cool though, because it shows how much paintball you played over the years of it, just like the sun saturating. It's like having anodizing being worn off your marker because you use it so damn much. But I think a little bit of both, right? I mean, obviously we have guys on the team that can do the job that I can do probably better. But I feel like personally, I would love them to kind of utilize me in different ways of not just this one-sided kind of missile or however you want to kind of lay it out. I'd really like to kind of see what I can do and how I can support and how I can fill a void, rather than just be thrown to a snake or anything off the break. Not saying that I won't do that, because I'm sure I will, but I would really like to kind of feel out where the team truly needs me at any given moment, and step up to the plate.
Hell yeah, man.
Solid.
Yes, sir. All right, Sergeant Phillips. He says, okay, so I need to know. Do you know who the pro paintball troll is?
It's me, mother.
Boom.
It's me. I'm the meanest guy in paintball. You guys don't know that? No, I don't know, and I don't really care, because I think that's the easiest job in the world. And I think to not take ridicule because you're hiding behind an Instagram account is pretty damn easy. I think to actually go out and put yourself out there and try and produce and work and sacrifice is a lot harder than making fun of people. So no, I don't know who it is, and I could care less.
Damn, you hit the paintball troll hard right there. Jeez.
He's
Personally,
got an
we're
easy
big
job, man.
supporters. I guess I don't disagree with that. I think, well, it's not easy to be clever. I'll give him that. It's hard to be clever. But I think it's actually an interesting and fun thing for the sport. Again, like I used to push back on all the meme accounts. I thought memes were stupid. The pro paintball.
Look at
any
pro thing has.
Watch the ones that come out after
but
this.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of them now, because again, back to what we were talking about, it keeps people at least engaged in some sort of paintball stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I just pay no attention.
Totally. I hear you. Yeah.
Totally. But I think it's definitely necessary. Like, no matter what,
Oh, sure.
in any facet of top caliber, whether it's, I mean, even I'm sure there's a pickleball troll, you know what I mean? Like, there's like there's any type of sport is going to have the trolls. And like Marcella said, it's kind of a necessary evil to keep people engaged and having fun. You know?
Everybody's a critic, man.
That's very true. That is very true. All right, I'm going to hit you with another one. Just a quick one. Alex Cooper, ask him how his stickers are holding up with like a wink. What does that mean? You got stickers out there?
Oh, yeah. So Alex made me some, I don't have them with me, but I plan on putting the one I have on my DSR. He made me some really cool H2K stickers. I plan on working with him. We're going to make some goggle stickers. Like, you remember how I used to wear the monkey with a gun sticker on the side of my goggles on the lenses? So I'm going to make, to fill that void, I'm going to make some H2K stickers for different goggles.
Nice.
And yeah, he just made me some awesome H2K stickers, and I'm gonna work with him more and make some more.
I gotta hype him up. Then he did put his like tag for 269 paintball, so I had to throw that in there as well.
Yeah,
big
appreciate
up to 269 paintball. Yeah.
All right, this is an important one. Tyler Johnsky, Carl, which player are you most looking forward to bunkering the shit out of?
Bunkering the shit out of. Well, I've never messed myself after I got bunkered. So I'm trying to think who I'm excited for. That's such a tough question, right? Because there's so many great players that you
name
feel...
one, dude. Who do you want to bunker? Name one. It could be me. It's okay.
Name one. No, you don't really play front that often for me to get as close.
Oh, don't tempt me, bro.
Maybe I'm not tempting. Maybe I'm baiting. No, I think I love playing against Alex, because I just feel like he's,
Frazier or Goldman?
Alex Goldman. Just because he's such a great player, snake player in general. His IQ is amazing, and I think that anytime that I can have the one up on him where I bunker him, I'm sure I'm going to have one coming. But it's always great to get that guy off the field and And any one of you guys, man, if I can shoot you before you shoot me, it's a win.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. H2K.
There you go,
baby. We got Randy McCaw Jr. What decision was harder, hanging the cleats up or picking them back up?
That's a great question, because there was stress with both.
Yeah.
Hanging them up was hard because I feel like I was in a good spot, like physically and mentally I was in a good spot, but I was very much lacking on my personal side, which I was able to give attention to. But picking them up was rather stressful too, because now obviously it's more time, dedication, sacrifice. But also I'm trying to help build this brand, and there's a lot more meaning behind it besides just loving the game and wanting to play more. So that's a great question, and I don't have an answer because they were equally joyful and stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine. And dude, we're just glad to see you back taking the pro field. It's going to be exciting, man.
I'm excited.
Heck yeah.
I am.
I'm
excited to see you, dude. I'm bummed you're not going to be in Dallas.
I know.
It's blind layout too. Your favorite thing. I just can't believe you're not going to be there.
No, how are you not excited about that? I do want to say though, with H2K, I'm sorry to butt in, but with H2K, we are going to be coming out with multiple products and working with all kinds of different manufacturers. Dye, Planet Eclipse. Nice. We're talking to Carbon. We're talking to a bunch of different people. So what we're trying to do is make some limited batch stuff that's affordable, that's cool as shit, that you can tell we put time, effort, and we really enjoy what we're making, and that nice. What we make is what we want to use, and what we want people to enjoy it. So that's also kind of the premise of H2K itself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, brother.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Marcel? I didn't know.
No, you're good. Yeah, no. Captain Shibby, what's the best game time meal? What do the pros eat and drink during a full day at the field?
Water, mostly. Stay hydrated for most of the day. That's going to be your meal for most of the day, is just gallons of water. But mm-hmm. I'm not big like on a big meal during play. Like I'll have something small. I'd usually do a couple bars, definitely banana, orange, and a coffee mm-hmm. in the morning, and I'll try and do the same in between games, but nothing. I can't have a heavy stomach. If I have a heavy stomach, I just feel like I'm sluggish on the field. But after that, after the games, you're on your own. Eat whatever you want.
Yeah. You need to fuel up. Yeah. After the game is just whatever,
Yeah.
Make sure you're eating a lot of food. And
main go to though after the game or in general is just a steak salad bowl from Chipotle.
There we go.
Yeah. Delicious.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's see. I think that we've kind of covered most of these. Let's see.
I have one more.
Yeah, I got one from Mole King. Carl, you've had distinguished style since you emerged from excessive. Could you talk about your influence in paintball fashion?
Ooh, paintball fashion. I never thought I had paintball fashion because I felt very much that I was just copying a lot of the guys that were doing it for me.
What about the bandana? You had the bandana tied to the pack
end.
Yeah.
So I ripped that off some of the Avalanche guys. They were doing like sashes, like big sashes down on their packs, and I didn't want to go that flamboyant. I wanted to scale it back a little bit, and maybe and what I would do is I would just take one of my older headbands from maybe the season before or something, and I would tie it on my pack, and it'd be kind of like to remind me to keep moving forward.
Okay.
Love it.
And so I'm working right now with Charm City paintball, and we're making pack bands and stuff, and it's kind of a cool little thing that we're doing.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. That was actually the question that I was going to ask. So yeah, all through with with the Discord questions, man. But dude, Carl, this has been I feel like
my man,
2 hours, 50 minutes kind of flew by. I feel like we could just sit down and talk with you forever. It seems like you have some experience doing this.
Yeah. I love it, man. I like I said, I could talk to you guys for days, and
dude,
you guys are doing a great job. I tip my hat to you guys. Keep moving on and keep progressing and keep growing. Not only your platform, but also the sport in general. You guys have an amazing influence on the community and on other players and on your peers. And you just need to keep. I don't have any doubt you guys are going to keep moving on and just truck.
And right
You're
back
the man,
at you,
dude.
my brother.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank you,
Carl,
Carl, for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, no worries. I do probably should give my thank you to our sponsors, to the Level Up guys themselves, to Pando, to Level Up Sports Park and everything, and for taking the chance on some retired pro guy to come in and help the team out. So a big shout out to all of our sponsors. I think Valken as well. I'm sorry, I'm still new to this, so I'm very grateful, and dude, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Dude, the pleasure is all ours.
Yeah, where can everybody keep up with H2K, the Playing On podcast, all that stuff? What are the website details and all that?
Yeah, so if you want to follow me, Carl_Markowski on Instagram, we have h2kpaintball.com. Same thing on Instagram, h2k paintball. And the podcast you can find on all of the streaming, all the podcast platforms and everything. The playingonpodcast.com. You can find merch. You can find old episodes like the ones that Marcelo and Tyler are on way back in when. And
yes, sir.
And yeah, and just
hell yeah,
enjoy, man. Create and I can't say it enough, man. Keep moving. Keep just involving yourselves in the game and with what you're doing, because it's a true gem.
Yeah, do what you love. And everybody head over and support Carl. Support him on all those platforms. And everybody stay safe and have fun. Keep playing paintball out there. Carl, you're a legend. We're so grateful to have had you databased in PTG here. And we can't wait to see you soon on the field, bro.
Hell yeah, baby. H2K all the way.
Let's go.
Peace.
See ya.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, you can head over to ptgpaintball.com, and if you'd like to support the show, you can click the Patreon link, sign up, and get access to the Discord. The Discord has so many amazing things going on. We really hope to see you guys in there. With that, if you guys need a website done, Rusty Glaze does all of our stuff. You can find him over at constantpursuit.com. He does a fantastic job, whether you are a field, a team, or just an entrepreneur that needs a website. Rusty is your guy. All right, everybody, as always, we'll see you very soon.